Welcome to Optional Dialogue, episode 85. I'm your host, Sebastian, and once again, I'm joined by Dory, James, and Mitch, and once again, we're joined by Ryan. Welcome back, Ryan.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So last time you were on, we talked about the Xbox Showcase and the Starfield Direct, and now today we're going to talk about Starfield as a whole.
We planned this, by the way. Absolutely, we all thought of that and was like, wow, it comes full circle. Perfect. We all thought of that, definitely.
But we're not gonna do any spoiler cast though, so we're gonna keep it spoiler free. But we're gonna hit as much as we can without spoiling the game. Before we talk about Starfield, we're gonna talk about Nintendo Direct and the State of Play. Only that, I had open house the same day, so I had to watch all these at work, and I was there the entire day, and it was a really long day. So let's get started with Nintendo Direct. The very first game I want to talk about is the Super Mario RPG, because first of all, that's the one I already bought. But it's also the one I'm most hyped for. I mean, Super Mario RPG is one of the best Super Nintendo games ever, and I'm really hyped for it. I mean, and it has similar gameplay to Sea of Stars. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
But what did you guys think about Super Mario RPG? I'll let Ryan go first because you're our guest.
Excited to see it. I haven't played the original, so I definitely want to get my hands on the remake coming out and finally get to experience the RPG that I know a lot of people love to claim is an all-timer from back in the day. It looks great. I just excited to get, if I can find the time for it, excited to get my hand a little later this year.
Ryan, are you suggesting that more than one good game has come out this year? Preposterous.
It's a lot.
It comes out at a perfect time because it comes out in November, so it's like right after all the big hitters.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Because I'm not playing Call of Duty, so that's pretty much my big November game. What about everybody else? Anyone else playing?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played any of the RPG Mario games. I haven't played any of the Paper Mario games. I almost bought the Origami King, but Kim and I just didn't pull the trigger on that one. So I'm very excited for this. It looks good. I've heard a lot of good things about it. It is a turn-based game, but I figure, hey, if I like Sea of Stars, I will probably like this as well. And since they're remaking it, hopefully it'll have some modern features, or it won't be too outdated. We'll have to see. I don't think they've talked too much about, how various things work in the game as opposed to how it originally worked, if there's any differences at all. But it looks good, and I've heard nothing but positive things about this game. So I am definitely interested in trying it out. Kim and I both actually are thinking about playing it together. So it should be a good time. I've never played it before, so I am excited.
It's the year of RPGs when you got Dory playing turn-based RPGs.
I know, right? Like that's how wild of a year it's been. Like I looked at Sea of Stars and I was like, well, it's on Game Pass, and I'm like, damn, this is really good. And now I'm like, maybe I've been wrong about turn-based games. Maybe I've just lied to myself. Actually, pretty soon I'm probably going to play Like a Dragon. So I'm just going to turn myself into a turn-based game player, apparently.
Yeah, that was me with Metroidvanias, and all of a sudden I was playing tons of Metroidvanias. So.
Yeah. So
I got right back into Like a Dragon a couple of weeks ago, and it probably has some of the best side stories of all the Yakuza games I played. Granted, I've only played Zero and Judgment before this, but it some of those side stories just had me cackling. It was friggin' fantastic.
James, are you interested in Super Mario RPG?
Do you know what? Actually didn't watch the Nintendo Direct before we.
Oh, okay.
Get out.
Oh, I mean, were you generally interested in it anyway?
Boo this man.
Sorry. But I'm watching it now, and it sure looks like a turn-based RPG.
I have to agree with James there.
That's all I can say about it. I mean, it looks interesting. I mean, obviously, number one Nintendo fan right here. So yeah, no, I'm probably not going to pick this up, but it looks good.
With James.
I'm happy for everyone who is going to enjoy this.
What I like about it too is the fact that it's not a long game. I believe it's only like 20 something hours. It's not like another 40-50 hour RPG.
Thank God.
I mean, I'm literally playing Baldur's Gate 3 again while just beating Starfield, and
Jesus Christ. I thought I saw you playing Baldur's Gate 3. I was like, what is he up to?
Everybody on PS5.
What the fuck, dude? Oh my God.
I'm on Act 2 already, so.
Oh my God.
Wow.
We just hit level 12 today.
Well,
So good.
the cool thing
God.
is you can save between your saved on PC and
yes,
PS5
cross
carry over.
saves. Yep.
So you,
Absolutely.
so you can
Cross
like
saves.
get all the trophies that way. Kind of just like save at a certain spot and jump back.
Trophy scumming
Yeah,
from the people who brought you save scumming. It's trophy scumming.
yeah. So then the next game I want to talk about is Tomb Raider Remastered, because they're remastering the first 3 Tomb Raider games. But I thought it was really cool. It's coming on PlayStation as well as and Xbox. So
Oh, cool.
It's not.
I was
know that.
wondering about that. Yeah. Nice.
I grew up with all those games, so I'm excited to play it again. I don't remember the release date that it said, but I hope it's not like Metal Gear Solid where it's like right in the middle of a million things and I don't have time to play it.
I also heard that's. Oh, yep. Sorry.
Do you think you're going to play those with the original polygonal
February.
graphics or the more modern?
Modern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming out Valentine's Day actually, so I guess
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
right.
It's a perfect romantic game.
It was really cool that you can you could switch between the original and the remastered version, kind of like
I think that's
Master Chief
awesome.
Collection. Yeah.
God, imagine if Rockstar did that with like a hypothetical remaster that they released at one point. I mean, that would have been cool. Not that it would have ever mattered, of course, especially with rain effects or anything like that.
Wasn't it funny that Resident Evil 4 remake
I-
was rain effects was very similar to the Grand Theft Auto show?
It was a little bit, not as bad, but yeah, it was a little off.
Yeah.
I was like, they've been taking some notes from the wrong. That's like when you take notes from the person beside you, but he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. You end up failing. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
This looks cool. I did not grow up on the Tomb Raider games. I have a known dislike of one particular Tomb Raider game, but I did really like the remake of the Tomb Raider games that came out in the mid 2010s, and I never played the sequel. So I don't know if these games have aged well. Maybe I'll check it out. My February is pretty clear right now. Haven't drawn out my whole 2024, so I don't know. Could be cool, but I don't know. I was a little like, on this.
I don't think they're gonna age well, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think
it's
so
very
either.
limited.
That's what I'm worried about.
Gameplay wise.
Gameplay wise, yeah, that's my main concern. Not graphics. I don't really care the graphics.
It's gonna feel very stiff because even back then, I mean, that's how it was back then. It wasn't. We didn't have 360 movement like that. Like that was like around Super Mario 64, which was like a groundbreaking game for that. But it was very. It was like before analog sticks on the PlayStation controller.
Yeah.
So that kind of gameplay.
Probably tank controls, but worse.
Yeah, but it probably plays better because like, if it's anything like the Resident Evil remake when they remastered it, they changed the tank controls into like a more modern control scheme and it flowed better. So maybe they did.
I'm a big sucker for dual wielding. So I mean, if it does play well and we got the dual wielding going on, you could shoot dinosaurs. I mean, those poor dinosaurs have been through enough, but
my thing is like I feel like this should have been like on the premium PlayStation Plus tier. Like this feels like instead of like remastering a trilogy, this just should have been on a service like for PlayStation.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that big of a deal to me.
I mean, it might still come to PlayStation Plus. They just haven't announced it yet, but that's like being extremely optimistic about their chances.
Probably not though, unfortunately. I forget who
like
owns them now.
or something,
What's the name? It was like that big company that bought them now. That was buying everybody. I'm forgetting. Embracer Group. I think they own Tomb Raider now. They bought it from Square Enix.
Oh right, yeah.
CD Entertainment.
Oh wait, was it Eidos or Crystal they bought?
I don't remember.
Both.
Could be both.
It was formerly owned by Eidos Interactive, then by Square Enix Europe after Square Enix's acquisition of Eidos in 2009, until Embracer Group purchased the intellectual property alongside Eidos in 2022.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
I was going to make the same joke actually. I was right about to say. But yeah.
And it is literally from Wikipedia.
And
Very nice.
So the remaster is done by the Asper. I think it's Asper Group. So the people that made all the Star Wars remasters, like Jedi Academy. And,
okay.
Yeah, so that's cool. All right, so let's move on to Luigi's Mansion 2, which I'm really excited to play because that's the one I skipped because it was on the 3DS, and I did play it, but I never finished it, and I just kind of moved on from it. It comes out in the summer of next year. But that seems like a game that I would get in like October of next year. I feel like it's a perfect Halloween game. So for me, that's an easy wait. But I am definitely excited for it because I love the Luigi Mansion games. 1 and 3 are amazing. Especially 3 was really, really good. I was really impressed with
3.
that one.
Kim and I had such a good time with 3. I mean, I wouldn't say, yeah, it wasn't like masterful or anything like that, but Kim and I really enjoyed ourselves. And that game, the game is gorgeous too. I mean, unexpectedly just beautiful on the Switch. With the art style aesthetic they were going for. That was my first. That was my first Luigi's Mansion game too, and I loved it. So.
Oh, really? You never played the first one?
Yeah, and I didn't have a GameCube growing up, and then I had a DS, but I never got a 3DS. So I just missed out on both of them.
Honestly, that might have been my very first GameCube game. Like I got it on Christmas. Like that's the first game I played. That and Smash Brothers Melee. So that game still holds up really well. Actually, I'm surprised they haven't remade it. Actually,
it's funny. It's funny that you bring up Melee. Everybody has so much nostalgia for Melee, and I have so much nostalgia for Brawl because I didn't grow up with a GameCube. I grew up with a Wii.
That's crazy.
And so I have so much more. I know that has so much more nostalgia for Brawl. Everyone's like, "Oh, let's go play Project M," and I'm like, "What about Project B? Everybody, Brawl." Everybody.
Although ironically, I played more Brawl than Melee because my friends and I played the hell out of Brawl.
Some Space Emissary ruled. That was such a fun story mode.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame before Avengers Endgame,
right?
In my opinion.
But I think Luigi's Mansion 2 is underrated just because it's on the 3DS, and I think a lot of people didn't play that one.
it just didn't get enough attention. Yeah, it just didn't. I definitely might check it out. I'm not sure. I'll wait for reviews and whatnot, but it got pretty solid reviews back in the day, 8s and 7s and whatnot.
Yeah. So another thing I want to talk about is we finally got all the amiibos for every single Smash character, and one of them is Sora from Kingdom Hearts, which was really, really cool because that's definitely one I want to pick up. And this is the Kingdom Hearts topic that Dory's not hearing. But
don't tell her.
That's the one amiibo I really want to pick up. That I still have to get the Sephiroth one and the Cloud one. I don't collect amiibos, but those are the ones that would be really cool on my desk. So I definitely want to get the Sora amiibo. The other game, the new game basically is the Princess Peach Showtime. So Princess Peach got her own game. I think that's the one that on the last Nintendo Direct we talked about. It's just like their official name now. I could be wrong, but what'd you guys think about this game?
Shocking how interested I am in it. I was kind of watching the gameplay like, oh, this looks fun. Like I want to get the Princess Peach game. I guess I want to get the Princess Peach game. It looks like a good time. Constantly kind of switching up abilities for whatever new mini game they want to throw at you. Looks like Princess Peach kind of got a more expanded, almost like WarioWare, where they're just constantly bouncing from one thing to the next. They're just kind of delving in a little bit more deeply than WarioWare might.
Yeah, I love the whole theater thing. It's this setting is just on stage and it transitions. It reminds me of that game from on PS3 with the scissors. I forget the name of it. A Puppeteer, I think it is, something like that.
Was the one that used the PlayStation Move controllers?
I don't think it might have, but I didn't use that when I played it. I'm pretty sure it's I think it's Puppeteer, something like that. But that and Little Big Planet kind of thing, where it's everything's on stage. That was really cool. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in it. My only thing right now is I'm kind of in the Switch 2 mode already now. I'm kind of ready to move on. I'm not excited for new Switch games right now. I'm kind of I've been vibing with my PS5 and my PC and Game Pass and everything, so I haven't really been in the mood for Nintendo lately. And I'm waiting for the next system now. I'm not really hyped for the Switch as much anymore.
Yeah, I mean, speaking to that, I don't know, I feel like I'm just kind of. This feels weird, but I'm just mostly over the Switch, honestly, as a system.
Yeah.
It used to be really well known for indies, and now everybody else has the same indies that it has. And then obviously it has incredible mascots, incredible first party games, and I'll play those once in a blue moon, but I haven't really seen a lot of those lately, or they've been delayed, or they don't appeal to me. Honestly, the last game I played on the Switch before I played Ghost Trick, which is a great game, but you can play it elsewhere. You don't have to play it on the Switch. Was Hades maybe, or A Short Hike actually, and that's an older game.
That was a while ago.
Yeah. I mean, I played it in 2023, but obviously it didn't come out in 2023. So but anyway, going back to this game, I mean, I think this looks really cool. I really liked Karate Peach a lot. It reminds me, I think I said this last time we talked about it, but it reminds me of the DS game that she had that she was, kind of the main star of. I don't remember what it was called. But yeah, I mean, it looks pretty cool. I think one thing that annoyed me was like Peach and her friends are going to go to the dance. Suddenly, the dance gets taken over by. I'm like, can Peach just like enjoy her life? I feel like every time this girl tries to set up a party or go anywhere, somebody like tries to kidnap her or take over the Mushroom Kingdom or destroy the world. It's like this poor lady.
Welcome to being a princess. I mean,
apparently, you know what? Fair. You know, that's fair. Franz Ferdinand, eat your heart out, buddy.
Yeah.
So by the way, the game was
Sorry,
Puppeteer. I got that. I looked it up. Yeah. Go ahead, Mitch.
No, I was just gonna make some. Well, originally I was gonna make like a slice of life anime joke about Peach, and then when we got onto the topic of princesses, I thought of Princess Diana for some fucked up reason. But I couldn't come up with a joke of that, so we could move on.
It's probably for the best, honestly.
Yeah.
Isn't it really messed up that her short name is Princess Di? Every time somebody says Princess Di instead of Princess Diana, I'm like, yo, that's fucked up. Like, I don't think you should be saying that.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Anyway,
I never realized that.
James, do you have any interest in this game before we move on?
In the Peach game? No.
Yeah. No. Okay. Next game we're going to talk about is Detective Pikachu, which comes out next month. Who's excited for this game? Ryan?
Me.
0 out of 10. No Ryan Reynolds.
Surprised the guy with the Pokemon podcast is hyped for Detective Pikachu. Still haven't seen the movie because I don't believe in movies, but very hyped to get our hands on.
I actually played it for my class last year.
Yeah.
The kids weren't really into
The movie
though.
or
The movie, yeah. But
okay, yeah.
But I'm excited for it, but I feel like it's gonna be a wait for me, just because October was so stacked that like I just don't have time for it. But it's like it feels like a perfect like December, January kind of game for me.
I'm very interested. I didn't play the original. I don't know. I think the original came out on the 3DS, and I didn't have any DSs at that point. But I love me a detective game. I really liked the Detective Pikachu movie. If they do a mod in Resident Evil where all of the characters are Mr. Mime, I'm going to nope out of that game so fast.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
What if they do a Ryan Reynolds mod?
That'd be so funny. I'm your dad.
Not even just Pikachu.
Everybody's saying I'm your dad.
Literally everyone is Ryan Reynolds, including Mr.
Just
Mime.
the voice of Ryan Reynolds. Say, hey, how's it going? Buy my wireless company, buy my wine, all the other stuff he owns. That he invests
Soccer.
in. Soccer. Right.
Let's do it.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, this looks really cool. I'm excited for it. I don't know how much it is. I don't know if they've said. It's probably the full 60. If it is,
50.
I might wait. It's 50. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I might get it. It just depends on, as always, the classic Dory statement. It depends on reviews. But if it's getting like 8s, even if it gets 7s and 8s, I'll probably get it. I love me a good detective game. Obviously, this is more of a kid-friendly detective game. I don't expect hardcore sleuthing, but that's okay.
Did you buy the Super Mario RPG yet?
I have not bought it yet. No.
So if you plan on getting it digital, I recommend getting the 2 vouchers for $100. You can get both games and save.
I swear to God,
$10.
Seth brings this up so often. I think he's secretly working for Nintendo.
You
He
should.
really wants me to buy
You save because I saved like $30 when I did that on like Zelda.
See, he sounds like a commercial. See,
I save $30 when I use.
I save 50% by switching to the voucher model. Look at me go.
Ironically, Geico keeps like charging me more money, so I'm switching. So I'm actually switching from. I'm thinking about switching from Geico. Anyway, I'm interested in this game for sure. I never played the original game, and I love the movie, so I'm definitely interested. I just wish Danny DeVito was the voice of Pikachu in the game.
Ooh,
That's a fair one. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
that'd be good.
So, Ryan, you're interested in War Tales? They showed that at the Direct. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah. I've been playing this in early access on PC. It's cool to see it come to Switch for all the people that can't play it on PC. This is a really fun. It's like it's not so much a top. I mean, it is like a turn-based tactics game in a medieval setting, but like there's so much more to it than that. You're building this company of mercenaries as you across the countryside and affect the geopolitical outcomes of the countryside as you take one side or the other throughout whatever the first area. It's like a bunch of refugees are swarming the area, and it's like, well, do I help the refugees, do I help the locals, and all their various foibles? But there's like 12 different jobs, and like all the jobs are useful to the team, from brewing alchemy ingredients to being the captain of the team. They get more valor points when you rest. It's just a really fun tactics game that has that extra tacked on, like party building and not town building, but like building that mercenary group is actually a lot of fun. So I've put a good 40 or so hours in co-op on PC with a couple friends. It's a really good time. If that sounds like it's your jam and you can't play it on PC, definitely pick it up on Switch. Review dependent, as long as it runs well, because we all know the Switch at this point is the Switch.
For sure. Does anyone else have interest in that game, or before we move on? No? Okay.
No.
Dory, did you want to talk about the F-Zero games that they showed?
Hell yeah, I did. I don't remember why I did, but apparently I did. I just want to say, this is bonkers. I saw somebody on Twitter before, that fucking meme where someone has like a dodgeball and they're about to throw it, and it's called the gift of prophecy, and it's about to hit someone right in the face. This is like that meme, except somebody was like, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be so messed up if F-Zero came back and it was a battle royal game?" And then like somebody quote tweeting that is like, "You fool! You idiot! What have you done?" So this has been very divisive, apparently, on Twitter. Some people are like, F-Zero's back, I need any crumb I can get, and other people are like, you've killed the franchise, how could you do this? I don't have a strong opinion on this because I don't really care. I do love Captain Falcon though, and he's one of my mains in Super Smash Brothers. But so in a very tangential way, I care, I guess. I thought this was a cool little surprise. It's a cool idea. It's a messed up idea, I guess. But it is an idea. I don't really know how to feel about it. I won't be playing it, but it's worth at least mentioning. Hey, I guess F-Zero is back as a battle royal? ?
Well, I imagine much like Tetris 99, this will be around for like a month to get people to sign up for Nintendo Switch Online, and then it'll disappear.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If I remember correctly, that's what happened with Tetris 99. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't see. There's not much to make a fuss over.
For sure.
Right? Like it'll be gone before you know it.
Yeah, it's Twitter. People are upset about little things. One last game I want to talk about is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. I played this a little like when it first came out. This is like a remaster. I think it's a remake or a remaster, or maybe both. Ryan, are you excited for this game?
I am excited. This is a game I also I dabbled in when I was younger, but I never finished. And would really like to see the completion. I've heard so many great things about the Thousand Year Door over the years that I'd love to really experience all of it for myself. And the fact that Nintendo is perfectly willing to capitalize on my willingness to pay for nostalgia that I missed out on is, it's good on their part. Smart business decision.
Oh yeah, I mean the Switch has so many remasters at this point that I feel like half my catalog is remasters from the Wii U that I didn't play because everybody pretty much didn't play the Wii U. So it's smart business on Nintendo's part.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people bitch about remasters, but is anyone else excited about this game? Before we move on.
Yeah, I used to watch a Let's Player called Choga Conroy. I still do watch him on occasion, and he played this. Wow, a number of years back now, and that's how I first experienced. Like I said before, I didn't have a GameCube, so I didn't grow up playing any of the Paper Mario games. And I've heard nothing but incredible things. I watched the whole way through, but I mean, my memory's shit, so I don't really remember the story mode or all the twists and turns and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited. I might pick this up too. Again, I'm not sure why 2023 is the year of me turning into. Well, this might be coming out next year, actually.
Yeah, it does.
But 2023 is apparently the year of me becoming a turn-based RPG player. I think the whole reason I don't even like turn-based RPGs, or I say that anyway, is just because I had a bad experience with Final Fantasy VII when I was like 9 or 10, and that's just scarred me against ever trying turn-based games because I got my face wrecked in by bosses.
First step is Sea of Stars, and next step is Persona 5.
Now
That's right.
Take my
Fuck.
hand.
Oh,
take
God,
my
I
hand.
hope not.
Take my hand, and I'll
Jesus
take you on a
Christ.
journey. I'll be like Willy Wonka, open the factory.
That's
of all
right.
JRPGs. Recommendations for you. We'll start with Final Fantasy 1 through 10. Anyway, so then overall, before we move on, does anyone have any other games that they want to mention? Because for me, this direct wasn't much for me. So, go ahead.
Trombone Champ. Thank you very much. Coming to Nintendo Switch, I think.
Okay.
The final
have you guys seen Trombone Champ before?
Of course.
I
Yeah.
played it in middle school.
Yeah,
The
not much to
fuck,
say.
it's real?
It was Game of the Year the year it came out. When did it come out? Was it last year or was it this year?
2022,
last
yeah.
year. Yeah, it came
It
out
was
on
Game of
PC.
the Year last year.
A year ago yesterday, actually, funnily enough.
Oh.
Who needs Elden
It was
Ring
good,
when
yeah.
you got that?
Exactly. Game of the Year last year is going to be Game of the Year this year as well on Switch.
But
Very excited. I never played it, but
yeah.
I enjoyed it vicariously through others.
But
Okay.
But overall, I was pretty lukewarm on this direct just because it wasn't really for me. I'm not one of the people to say things are trash, because if something's not for me, it's not for me. But yeah, there was just nothing really that jumped out at me. This was a big showcase if you really like Mario Donkey Kong and WarioWare and things like that. Those are just not my kind of games. And Paper Mario is really, really cool. I would definitely want to play it, but again, it's like one of those, like, do I want to spend $60 on it? I don't know. It's just like, we'll see. So that's why I'm not as enthusiastic about this direct. And everybody else is not really a big Nintendo person. Ryan's a guest, but in general, our podcast is not very Nintendo heavy. So yeah, so that's why we're kind of like on it. But so let's move on to the PlayStation State of Play.
Yes.
Now I want to say this State of Play was actually one of the best ones. For me, there was a lot of things I really liked about it. Now, I want to say right from the start, I hated the start of it. I thought like the first 5-10 minutes was so draggy, and I just like, oh my god, can we move on? Now, I thought the game looked cool, which is first of all, it is baby steps. No, I thought it was cool and funny, but I thought it went on for like 10 minutes. I'm like, can we just kind of move on now? And then they showed like 2 VR games in a row, and I was like, uh-oh. But let's start with baby steps. So what did you guys think about baby steps?
I can't
It was
wait.
very funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't actually the metaphor. It's the name of an actual game. Let me refresh my memory. Yeah, let's continue on.
It's basically a walking simulator where you control the legs. Kind of remind me of the Octodad game.
Yes, very Octodad vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
they showed this.
My main. Oh, go ahead, James.
But no, they showed this earlier.
The
During
Devolver.
the E3.
Was
Yep.
it?
So, yeah, Devolver. Yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, it looked fun then.
Oh, he's thick. Continue.
It was literally
My main
it was
problem
3
with
minutes.
baby steps.
Trailer.
My
sorry.
main problem with baby steps is that if I wanted to play this game, I would simply walk outside and I would be playing this game. I would be living this game. But yeah, no, I mean definitely not for me. I have a terrible sense of direction and just horrible sense of balance, and this game would frustrate me to no end.
Just hits too
That's
close to
why I
home.
don't- It hits too close to home, absolutely. As an autistic person, I felt attacked, and I'm not interested. But it is very funny. Grapple the fucker. Just grapple it. Sounded terrific. I hope everybody has a fun time with this, but definitely not for me.
This is the future Hideo Kojima fans want.
Yeah.
Death Stranding
big
too.
Death Stranding fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hideo Kojima is like taking notes. That's how Norman Reedus is gonna walk.
This game is secretly made by Hideo Kojima.
Executive producer Hideo Kojima.
You know, you joke, but I did see the the 2 towers like in the back, so it makes sense.
Yeah, so it was only like 3 minutes, and it was just like I wish it moved on.
Yeah.
Then they showed the Ghostbusters VR, and I was like, it's kind of fun, but not something I spent $40-50 on. And
Has there ever been a good Ghostbusters game outside of that one made in 2009?
For the,
actual
like PS2 or
Ghostbusters?
PS3 or whatever.
the one with the actual cast
Yeah.
was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't care about this game, but I do want to comment on something really quickly. They said at one point that you will be using the most high-tech equipment against ghosts, but only if you earn it by like getting points or defeating ghosts. Can you imagine how fucked up that is if you're like trying to save the world with the most up-to-date technology and the game's just like, nah, you haven't earned it yet. It's like the city's literally gonna fucking, everyone's gonna die. Anyway, sorry, that really stuck out to me. I was like, that's so weird. That's such a weird thing to think about.
You don't have a good enough credit score to unlock this extremely
right.
high-tech weapons.
I'm trying to save my family. No, it doesn't matter. Get a better credit score.
But the one cool VR thing they showed was Resident Evil 4, which I think looks awesome. I think that's like this is one of the VR experiences you should play if you have VR, and it looks really really good. Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8 played really well in VR, so I trust Capcom with this. I dispelling Krauser with a knife in VR. This looks awesome. So I'm curious how they do. I'm really curious. Even like just like sneaking behind what's his name, the Garrador, is like incredible. So I'm excited to play that again. This is my fourth playthrough for that one.
First step is VR. Next step is iPhone 15.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's true.
Get for it.
Is this a free update?
I'm getting that
now?
next week.
Is this a free update for Resident Evil 4, the VR mode?
It doesn't say, but I
Doesn't say.
think it is.
I assume it was free for Resident Evil Village,
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably will be.
so I'd assume.
But the big announcement after that was Separate Ways. I mean, we kind of.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Oh,
I knew.
Yeah.
We all knew it was coming at some point. I think like it had to. Like,
it's not
but
this
so
soon.
Drop a week
Yeah.
after the announcement. That was awesome.
Is it too soon though? It's been like what, 6 months, 5 months?
No. Not that it's been. I meant like this soon after the announcement.
Oh,
like
yeah,
7. Like,
yeah.
Now, like you can now play it 7, like a week from this. I
Yeah,
thought that
Friday.
was wild.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
that is
I'm
awesome.
sorry.
Yeah,
Am I the only one who's like a little concerned about getting a whole DLC with the worst video game voice acting since NBA 15?
Jesus Christ.
That is
she
true.
wasn't even
I
that
thought
bad.
she was fine. She's fine.
I mean,
I'm not
if you
worried
want
about her
voice
voice acting.
just listen to Megan Fox in MK1.
Oh,
Just
God.
that's all.
This is why we hire professional voice actors and not celebrities. Pay people.
First Ronda Rousey, now Megan Fox.
Oh God! Don't even get me started
Like,
on Ronda Rousey.
Megan
It's
Fox
true.
is actually an actress. I haven't seen.
Yeah,
know.
but she's not a voice actress. Like that's not what she does. Like
It's Resident Evil. It's par for the course.
Yeah.
No, but Separate
really
Ways.
is, too.
Separate Ways is one of the best DLCs ever. I love that
So
part
good.
of Resident Evil 4. So I am
so this
definitely.
this to me was the start of just an absolutely like goated PS5 show or PlayStation showcase. Low key, I think this is one of my favorite showcases of the entire year. That's how good it was for me personally. I don't expect everyone to feel the same, obviously, but I think it helps. I had very low expectations. They were like, just expect like indies and pre-announced third-party games, and I was like, okay, well then probably nothing out of this. And then we got this, and then 2 other things we'll talk about. This was probably my favorite showcase of the entire year, and probably the best state of play this entire year for me.
It's
this is
nuts
incredible.
that like this state of play was better than the PlayStation Showcase.
Yeah.
It's like this almost feels like an apology for the PlayStation Showcase.
Yeah, pretty
It
much.
was it
It was bad, Mitch.
Yeah.
It was bad. Come on.
It was alright.
It was okay.
I'm still
but
in
it could have
which-
been much
Are
better.
we talking about
Yeah.
the one? Are we talking about the one a few months back where they first showed Spider-Man 2 gameplay? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's
Yeah,
I bet you that's the
It
only
was
thing you can
alright,
remember
but that's
from it.
purely just because. Well, yeah. I mean, like it was alright
Spider-Man
just
10
because
minutes
of
at the end was all
Spider-Man
that
thing.
saved it, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
As I said,
It's like out of the 60 minutes, we
Yeah.
got 10 minutes or so of Spider-Man. So I'll take what I could get.
yeah, as I said, it was. I thought it was. I was actually in the camp where I was pretty good because there was like 8 or 9 games I wanted to play. So like if you're just looking for like AAA Sony game, big first party games, then it was the worst show ever. If you're looking for indie like, games I like, indies and third party games, then I was pretty happy.
Was MGS3 remake announced that as well?
That was like the
So that
that
was
was the
leaked
biggest
beforehand.
announcement there, I think.
Yeah.
So we knew.
Yeah,
They didn't want us to know, but we knew.
yeah. Well, the same thing with this
But
one.
anyway,
with
Separate Ways.
Go ahead.
Separate Ways looks so good, and I'm very excited. I love that DLC. I played it at least a couple of times, maybe a few times. I don't remember, because I played Resident Evil 4 on so many different freaking platforms.
I beat Separate Ways like 10 times probably.
Yeah,
on like
it's so
6
fun.
platforms.
And I'm very curious. They showed some interaction between Luis and Ada, and we didn't get that in the original. So there's definitely going to be some story changes. So I'm very curious how this impacts the story of Resident Evil 4. Yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, the cool thing with Separate Ways is like all the. First of all, I love stories that like intersect with the main story. Like I love like Ada's doing something on the side. You can see what Leon's doing, and I also love like the hook shot. Like you can do so many cooler things like hook shot on top of the roof and like in Separate Ways. So that I'm definitely excited what kind of gameplay mechanics they add to this DLC. But yeah.
Yeah.
Now I would talk about Avatar, but we actually last time Ryan was on, we talked about Avatar in depth, and it still looks like Far Cry with blue people. I'm still interested in it. I don't know if I'll spend. I still need to see reviews, like I said before. But I'm still kind of interested in it. Like I said,
I think it looks slightly better this time, graphically. Anyway.
Yeah, it does look better.
Oh yeah, a lot of the gameplay reminds me of Far Cry Primal, aka the worst Far Cry. So take that as you will. I mean, granted,
I have negative interest in this game, like negative interest.
Yeah, I mean, like I like the Avatar movies. I think they're fantastic, but it's like I don't like I'd rather, at least at this stage, I'd rather play the 2009 movie tie-in game than this one. I just find that more appealing. I'm gonna be honest.
What an interesting take.
I mean, they're both made by Ubisoft, so it's not exactly like you know.
I just want James Cameron to go back in his submarine and just leave us alone. You know, I just want him to be happy in his submarine. By the way, did you know the little side story here I learned on the internet this week? Apparently, when 9/11 happened, he was down in his submarine, and so he had no idea it happened. So when he came back up, when he came back up, like one of the people who he was working with told him about it. I didn't watch the clip because like I couldn't. But there's a clip online of like him being told that 9/11 happened, and it's wild. Anyway, sorry. I know we just made Kojima like really happy by talking about that, but anyway.
Imagine sleeping in on that, just like waking up at like 11, 12 o'clock. How fucking
what a beautiful
like I mean
morning.
yeah.
Oh, and also sorry, last tangent, but the movie Saw 1, the first one, the canonical date that is on the cell phone is
yes, 9, I saw 10, that
2001. So these guys think they're having a bad day now. Boy, their day ain't getting any better when they get away from Jigsaw. Whew, glad that's over. Nothing worse could top that, I guess. Anyway, sorry. Tangent's over. Let's move on.
I still wish this game was in third person rather than first, though.
Yeah.
Especially since like it's third person when you fly on the monster. So.
Well, because like part of the thing about like the Na'vi is how like freaking like tall they are compared to everyone else. Like like granted, first person can still simulate that aspect somewhat, but it's like at least with third person you can like have an actual comparison of like where you are and your environment and actually get a look at your character that you customize.
Yeah,
Ubisoft, like why are you making customization systems for people we can't see?
Yeah,
why?
At least give like an option to switch between the two, like Starfield does. Now is anyone excited about Ghost Runner 2?
Oh yeah,
which comes out pretty soon actually. The demo came out as well.
I reviewed Ghost Runner, the first one.
You did?
For the channel. And oh wait, did I?
No, I didn't. You would have because
I think I captured the gameplay. I don't know if I wrote it. Anyway, either way, I played it, and it was good. It was good. So I'm very excited for this. It looks like it looks like they've advanced the formula in a lot of ways. It looks aesthetically very nice. And yeah,
It looks like a sequel to Ghost Runner.
It looks like a sequel to Ghost Runner. Exactly. It almost as if that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, that's fine. The first game was so fun. If they've just built upon that, which obviously they have, there's very little chance that this game turns out bad.
Yeah, it wasn't. The first game wasn't for me. I tried it, but yeah, I think it was a plus game. I think it was a plus game. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for a while, and then I think I accidentally restarted a level, and I just couldn't be, just fucking asked to do it again.
Yeah.
I got stuck on like the very first boss. We have to like run up in like a little like circular room or something. Like, I have to keep wall running and jumping up and up and up, and I kept dying, and I got frustrated.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah,
stopped.
That one was a bit of a pain.
Yeah. It's probably better on PC with mouse and keyboard. I didn't like it on the controller.
Oh yeah,
I just like
100%.
the controllers just didn't feel as fluid for me. But that's just me problem. The next thing they showed was the Deep Earth collection, which is like the plates and the controllers. But I have the DualSense Edge, so I haven't used any other controller since I got that controller. So, and I'm happy with my black plates. So, and a lot of people got the Spider-Man plates. So, I was kind of confused because the colors look very similar to the ones they already released. So I was kind of like, huh? But yeah.
So how are they actually different?
They're a little brighter, I guess.
On the controller thing, right? I was having this conversation with some friends earlier. Am I the only person on the planet who thinks that the Spider-Man limited edition controller is kind of ugly?
I'm actually in the camp where I would not buy that one. I didn't like it either.
I'm not hot on it either. Yeah.
I have the DualSense.
It's a little too dark, in my opinion.
Y'all go fuck yourself. This is beautiful. This right here is beautiful. You go fuck yourself. Mitch, you with me? Mitch, what we doing? Yeah, let's go!
Look at these lamos.
Y'all go fuck yourself.
So, the next game that they showed was Helldivers 2, which was kind of... it wasn't for me, but I know Ryan's excited about it, so go ahead, Ryan.
I am so excited. Speaking of Plus games, I picked up the first Helldivers as a PS Plus game, not knowing really anything what it was. And I forced several friends to download it. I dragged them through a bunch of hours of gameplay, and then they were like, it's fine. And I was like, all right, I'm going to play for 70 more hours on my own. I adore that first game, and then the shift to third person from twin stick is huge. It's a real big shift from the first game to the second one here. But it really looks like they're keeping the spirit of Helldivers alive, and I love that drop in, hectic, absolutely chaotic. You have to keep moving. If you stop, you're dead. Combat. I love things like the recoilless rifle, having a friend carry the M1 reload. That's a thing that's carried over and translated very well, it looks like, into the third person perspective. I can't wait to play this game on PC so I don't have to pay PlayStation all their online fees. Yeah. So I'm so glad it's coming to Steam at the same time, day and date. But I'm really excited for Helldivers 2. I loved the first game. I put a good 80 hours into the first game, mostly solo, and that is a game that is difficult to play solo sometimes. I mean, it's a punishing experience. But I've done some of the harder. There, in the first game at least, each planet was a new level of difficulty, and I think now there's 15 different levels of difficulty. But I've cleared level 12 alone on the bug world, that's a lot of bugs. It's so many bugs.
Yeah,
it's a lot of bugs. 7 out of 10. 7 out
What
of 10.
What is this, a Bethesda game?
That's the charm, though, isn't it?
Sure.
Anyone else have anything to say about Helldivers?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't.
They
It's not
sure
for me.
are diving into hell.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
All right. So the two big things they showed, obviously, was Spider-Man 2. Be careful of IGN's coverage of it because they're spoiling the hell out of this game, left and right.
Oh yeah, they are. And I watched every single fucking video.
IGN is becoming the worst. With that. They've been spoiling games left and right for people in reviews. But in this case, Spider-Man. First of all, we got to see a boss fight with the lizard, which was really cool.
Mm.
And the movement in this game looks so much better than the original, like so much better. Like it's really crazy how much of a difference it is.
I like the movement in the first one.
Yeah, it was fantastic, but this is even better, which is crazy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Do you know the standout thing, right? So I haven't seen much of the coverage that came out post this
Be
showcase.
careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. But the one thing that I did see on Twitter is the whole kind of animation thing, the fast travel, where you're in the map
Yeah.
and then you select the fast travel point, and it just like zooms down out of the map, and then all of a sudden Miles is like flying in.
Yeah.
So good.
That was
so
so
Yeah,
cool.
I didn't even pick
Good.
up on that
Nice.
during the showcase. I didn't even pick up on that during the showcase.
I don't know
I'm
if it
like,
was
oh,
in
yeah,
the
fast
showcase.
traveling.
I think.
Well,
I think
I mean,
it was
they-
in. Yeah.
They briefly showed it. They like showed like it on a
They
map.
very
and then it
briefly
had, like,
mentioned
you
it.
just
Yeah.
had like you just like was the cursor was on a random point in the
They
map,
showed-
and then
yeah,
it just said
they showed
fast
it,
travel,
yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
That and the GTA 5-esque fast character
Switching,
switches.
yeah.
Character
Yeah.
Very
switching,
nice,
oh
very
my
nice.
God.
Not only that, but New York looks so much better in this game. Like there's way more more people, more detail, and there's buildings, more ray tracing.
Yeah, I mean, there is there's no mode of this game that doesn't have ray tracing. Even the performance mode has ray tracing.
And then the detail of the suit
yeah.
looks so much better, especially with the symbiote suit.
Yeah,
looks so
good.
Actually, looks better than
the
the first
symbiote
time they
suit
showed
looks
it.
Venom
fantastic.
powers look incredible. Like I don't mean Miles's Venom powers. Those look really good too. But the symbiote Venom powers look incredible and just so effective at dealing with mobs, which apparently you're really going to need in this game because they're scaling up the amount of. They're kind of having a Kingdom Hearts 3 issue where you're becoming so powerful that they have to compensate by having lots of enemies at once, but which can could create power creep within the system. But I'm very excited. I mean, it looks like that perfect balance of being able to have big crowds, but be able to manage them pretty quickly by using your powers, your gadgets, your webs, and all that stuff.
Yeah, one of my probably biggest nitpicks about the first game in my probably 150 200 plus hours with it is that the combat, believe it or not, the combat got a bit repetitive after a while. I was but to be honest, I was never a big fan of the gadgets and especially the suit powers, and I'm kind of glad that they seem to be toning that aspect down a little bit. Like I think Miles Morales
I don't think they are, but the suit powers, I didn't see them mention suit powers once.
Yeah,
so they're probably that down at least.
They've said
it just
no
got repetitive.
suit powers, but
yeah,
exactly. And like because I literally just like went through another playthrough of the remastered first game like just last week, and I rarely ever use the suit powers. Like gadgets, yeah, sure, like I use like 3 or 4 of them because those were the only useful ones. But the suit powers, I was just like, they're either too overpowered or completely pointless.
Yeah. I beat that game 4 times and I never used the suit powers. So.
I barely ever used the suit powers. If I did, it's stuff that boosted my health or boosted some kind of attribute. I almost never use the stuff that like actually did something in the game.
After
a lot of
them
are cool,
after a while I just swapped over to the quips one where it's just like it says a random quip every single time.
Yes,
I just found that the most useful
felt like
and appealing.
Unfortunately, I still feel like this game's gonna have like that PlayStation like collect-a-thon, like do 1,000 things on the map.
It's
for the platinum again.
It seems to be a lot better here though, because like
hopefully,
in the first game it was like a lot of them were just like photograph certain random buildings or collect 50 backpacks or do all this stuff. But it's like I'm glad that they from everything I've seen across all the different people who've been covering it, I'm glad that the side content actually seems to have a bit, like everyone's said, and it seems like there's a bit more substance to the collectibles now. Like
they're bringing back. They're bringing back the Friendly Neighborhood app as well from Miles Morales, which I thought was a really good way to organize the side quest, much better than the original Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Or it just straight up didn't have any way to organize them.
Well, right.
I think,
but yes, by default.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. There's like, from what I've seen, there is at least like one collectible throughout the city, but it actually seems to be really, really cool. And I'm not going to spoil it, depending on what people think about it. But yeah.
Well, you know, I've at least heard that side quests are supposed to be better in this one.
Hopefully, that was the worst part of the first game.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say the collectibles, because in the showcase, they mentioned like, you know, a weird looking spider bot signal thing, and you got to collect those, and it has some cool tidbits about Spider-Man lore and all the characters and stuff. That's all I'll say. But I think one of the coolest side missions that I've seen was ones where like you have to like, I think they showed Miles doing it, but basically they're like little wingsuit challenges where you have to like follow one of the Craven drones, and like you have to fly through all the rings and stuff, Superman 64 style, and you know, like everyone.
That was the first game too.
Obviously modeled after the best superhero game of all time, Superman 64.
Superman 64, for sure.
I mean, that wasn't the first game.
Oh yeah, but sans web wings.
But I just hope it's what I want is like Arkham City kind of side missions where it's like you encounter other villains and it's like its own storyline. You just kind of just venture into. Because the first game just lacked that so much. Like if like all the missions were just like collect pigeons and help the environment, and it was just kind kind of tedious.
Yeah. I felt like Miles improved on that, and it seems like in this one there are only certain side quests. There are side quests that you can only do as Peter, and there's side quests you can only do as Miles, and so I think that'll help flesh it out. Hopefully,
the Miles was like a much shorter experience. Like this one's, I'm assuming is going to be at least 30 to 40 hours. So I would hope that like the side missions.
Well, if you're platinuming,
that's what I mean.
Playing casually.
Yeah, if you're playing casually, it's like 20, 25 hours.
15, 20 hours. Yeah.
But for me, I hope that like there's more to it than like I want like a storyline. Like we'll talk about it in Starfield, but like one of the best things about Starfield was like the side stuff. Like the best part of the game was the side stuff. Hopefully that's the case for Spider-Man as well.
So interesting. Sorry, before we move too far on, it's interesting that you bring up Arkham City, because something that I noticed from what they showed is that, you know, because like they showed in the showcase how they've got you know, they'll have like actual indicators in the open world for like where certain side missions are. Like you had the Mysterio symbol in the sky, and you had the the Spider-Bot symbol, and you had like I think they said like some invisible Craven barrier thing. I don't know. But it actually reminds me a lot of Batman Arkham Knight, where I think one of the best things that game did open world design wise is that they actually had like, you know, you could actually literally spot certain side missions from like hundreds of meters away, just because of like, you know, like for instance you'd have like a burning bat symbol or something, or like you'd have opera music playing faintly and you'd have to like, you know, track it down. Like it wasn't all like you'd actually you'd still have to go out and discover the side missions yourself, but there were actual like indicators to like sort of hone in on where they were. And it I think it's cool to see that, and something actually taking cues in that sense, instead of just like looking at a map and going like, okay, set waypoint here, like it wasn't the first couple games.
It would be really cool if you're just swinging around and like when they get on a ledge and like Venom just pops up like Man-Bat does, and then you get chased and he chases you or something. Like that'd be a really cool thing they should do.
It'd be really funny if he just like shows up with a trench coat and like a fedora, and he just doesn't say anything. He punches you, pushes it a helicopter.
No, I feel like this is the perfect game to do like a Venom like chase. Like he like randomly shows up like when you're swinging around. Like instead of just make it so scripted. Instead of making it scripted.
Okay, yeah. I was about to say, it's like, oh well, we got chases upon chases in this game by the looks of it, but non-scripted ones.
Like while you're in the open world, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But it's also, speaking of Batman, if you go to 17 minutes 58 seconds in the state of play, that's Batman.
What?
Yeah. I mean, do you guys even have the video?
Let's have it
open.
No.
Yeah.
Aren't you
The costume is very
audio
Batman.
medium?
Yeah.
1758, you say?
First of all, 1758 is where you'll find Batman on the state of play.
Oh,
he's wearing a cape.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Batman.
I imagine
Well,
it's from a
in-
comic book, because I imagine all the suits are from
Yeah,
something.
it's from the Batman comic.
No, I mean like a Spider-Man comic book.
Yeah, I see him. Very funny.
But look, no, in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
My kind of my concern with all this stuff they're showing is like,
It's too good.
if this is how much they're adding, what are they going to do for the third game? You know, like
First
this, it
person
feels like we
VR.
have
this-
nothing.
But,
First
but I
person
feel
VR.
like we had this problem with Miles too. It's like they're adding Miles and all his awesome powers, and you know, like I know it's a shorter game, but yeah, I don't know.
They'll
I
find
feel
a
like
way.
we have this. They'll
Insomniac never.
life finds a way.
You know what
Insomniac
they're gonna
never miss.
Spider-Man
Except reviews,
tank.
they never miss.
do. Get to drive the Spider-Mobile, and just half the game's gonna be in combat in the vehicle.
I honestly would not be surprised if the third game is like full on proper suit customization. Like that's going to be like their big feature.
No, what you gotta do is
For
have
that game.
Japanese Spider-Man and have a Megazord and everything. Like you gotta amp it up. Have full on like Final Fantasy 16 cinematic boss battles kind
Yep.
of things with Megazord Spider-Man. You gotta amp
Just
it
get
up.
the composer from the Final
They,
Fantasy
they
games.
got to bring back the
composing
Japanese
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, the one who used the gun and like
What-
wanted to take revenge for his father being murdered, and like the Megazord.
What is
and
it?
shit.
Didn't he call himself like the emissary from hell?
Hell
or
yeah,
something?
he did. Yes, I am Spider-Man, the emissary of hell. It's rules so hard.
That's it.
God. Yep. How come they didn't bring him back for Spider-Verse? God.
My only,
Crunching
They
your,
said they would. I'm
your-
not sure
your-
where he went.
Right?
I guess the only thing with
Good
the story is there's probably not gonna be any surprises. I feel like you can kind of predict the whole story. I'm pretty
Okay,
sure.
but yeah, but don't do it here because
I'm not going to.
I don't.
I'm not.
Why
I don't mean from the trailer. I could have told you like before like I saw any trailer for this game like where they're going with it. I feel like
yeah,
the story's
but that's
gonna be
because
kind of
you also read comic books.
yeah, but still it's kind of
Yeah.
obvious. I mean, it's like the end of the first game. Like,
I mean,
at the after the credits.
that's-
James is like, yeah,
Kinda
but
spoiled.
also you're a fucking nerd, so like,
Yeah.
obviously.
It's true, but like it's true, but like after the credits, it kind of shows like
It's true.
exactly what's gonna happen. Oh, 100%. But yeah, so it's kind
I
of.
mean, like to be fair, like I feel like you can kind of do that with all of Insomniac's games. Like,
That's true.
like with the first game, it's like the second you saw Otto Octavius
Yeah,
in
you
the
just
lab, it's
know.
like, oh yeah, he's the bad
Yeah,
guy.
that's true.
And then like the second you saw what was her name, Finn in Miles Morales, it's like, oh yeah, she's the bad guy. like same again. But like I feel
See,
like,
but it was
the-
like so unsettled because Billie Eilish started playing right in the background, just as like she showed up, and it was like I'm the bad guy, duh. And so like it was
Oh,
just
right.
so
Oh,
unsettled.
so look, we
Yeah.
got Harry now.
I
so
knew I
wonder
had to
who's gonna
explain
be
that
the
joke
bad
a
guy.
little more.
Yeah.
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 Also, like, that stuff goes over my head. I had no idea Finn was the bad guy until it was revealed. I'm so bad at spotting that stuff, but it's kind of like a blessing, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
yeah.
can see that. I'm a bit of a mix. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. There's definitely been moments this year, especially where I've like, oh, I didn't see that coming, but I really feel like I should have. So yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes all the clues are right
Yeah.
in front of you, and you just don't put them together.
Yeah, James hits on the camera stuff. That's what he notices.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he literally would hit on a camera if he could.
The most appealing, the most relatable aspect to Spider-Man that James has is the fact that he's a photographer.
A photographer.
And, except unlike unlike Spider-Man, it's like 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 a house could be burned down. James will be like, all right, let me position this correctly. I got to make sure the aperture's correctly.
He's just,
something
if
to
James
do
is
with
just
the
yelling at the
lens.
window. No, you gotta pose better than that.
And that's how you know Peter Parker is a rubbish photographer. He won't do anything for the shot.
All right, we probably exhausted this topic.
So the last big thing they showed was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which obviously
Oh, yeah.
we're all hyped for. I mean, I'm
Hell yeah, let's
beyond hyped
go.
for this.
I'm so ready
They showed
for
a lot.
well, I won't say it.
They showed a lot.
I was gonna say they showed so much in the trailer that I'm already burnt out from it.
Nah, not me.
I'm so
scared to
fucking
go.
I'm so fucking hyped.
I'm scared to go in because they said there's like 100 hours of content in the
Of course,
game. Like
it's open
that's
world.
obviously like more than that's obviously like including all the open world stuff and not just the main story. But also like that there's so much and they probably have only showed like 1.3%.
I
They showed a lot.
almost jumped out of my fucking seat when I saw that you could play as Sephiroth. I had no idea that was part of the original Final, because I've never played the original Final Fantasy VII, so I have no idea what's going to happen next. Not that they're not 100% sticking to the original Final Fantasy VII, right? We already know that they're not, but I mean, in broad sweeps, they are.
Yeah.
And so they're still like, I know about the golden saucer, but I don't know what the fuck it is or what goes on there, or why it's such a big deal.
So let me tell you. No. I mean, it's basically Vegas.
I'll also
It has mini games.
Yeah, I kind of put that together from the trailer.
Yeah,
but I mean,
that's
like,
pretty much
before
what it
that,
is.
I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm also
But it
probably
looks
gonna have to
awesome.
spend
I mean, graphically, it looks
13
incredible.
hours,
The whole
Oh, yeah.
game's there. Yuffie, Red 13. It looks terrific. I mean, I couldn't be
Superman's
much more
there.
hyped.
Everyone.
Zach is
Everyone's
there.
Yeah.
I do have a
there.
question, actually.
Little Mac.
Seb.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Shadow the Hedgehog in this?
You mean the cat?
Yeah.
That's Kate Sith.
I thought that was Mickey Mouse.
Kate
He's
Sith.
a
It's like a
Sith
cross
Lord.
between Shadow and Mickey Mouse.
Kate Sith. He's Scottish. He has a Scottish accent
Like
too.
a really.
Does he?
Very strong Scottish accent. Yep. They
Did I-
they
I'm
kept
sorry,
it. They
I
kept
didn't-
it. They kept it too for the game.
Let me listen.
Yeah. Because they dubbed him in Advent Children and they gave him a Scottish accent. Obviously, in the original game there was no voice acting, but they gave. He's
Sorry,
a
so what's
Right.
his
I was
name?
Kate
about to
Sith.
say. I was like, I don't remember any
Yeah.
voice acting in Final Fantasy VII when I played it. Yeah.
he's a wisecracking robot cat that talks and he rides on a giant like stuffed animal Moogle thing. He's a main character. He's a main
I've heard.
he's a main character in Final Fantasy VII. So
The most sensible
So-
thing I've heard all night.
So you know how like Godzilla is usually like some kind of lizard or dinosaur or like thing that's been mutated due to a bunch of radioactive waste.
yeah.
Catsif or King whatever
Catsif.
the hell his name is.
Catsif.
That's that. What he is if Mickey Mouse was doused in radiation, but instead of
Well,
becoming 50 feet tall,
he's-
he just became that thing.
Well, he's just a robot. He's controlled by a character you've already seen in the first remake. I'm not gonna say who it is, but
okay.
he is a character you already know. But
So-
he's remote controlled by somebody. He's a
Okay, no.
robot.
No.
Next question then. Where does Kate Sith sit in the hierarchy? Is he like above Palpatine, or is he like Darth Vader?
I mean, considering he has
With
ties to
Goku.
Shinra, that like he's probably up there next to Palpatine.
Can
Yeah.
he beat Goku?
Say it again.
Well, prep time.
Can he beat
If he has
Goku?
enough prep time, I think anybody.
No.
Yeah.
No. Case,
He's a robot. Can he run Crisis? that's
Ryan, we should get your opinion on this shit. Spider-Man and Final Fantasy. Was there anything you were like super looking forward to about either of
I'm
those?
more excited for Spider-Man than Final Fantasy. I still haven't played.
fair.
has anyone played 7?
All right.
Ryan, have you played 7? Like, am I?
No, not the
Yeah.
original, not the re-release part 1.
At least I played the
series I have
re-release.
Sporadic involvement with over the years.
Hasn't even finished 16. Everybody, by the way,
I
we're
haven't,
still
I'm
debating
sorry.
kicking him off the podcast. What about Spider-Man though? Because we didn't hear from you about Spider-Man.
big hype for Spider-Man 2. I just platinumed
Oh,
the
yeah.
first game. Spider-Man's probably my
Nice.
favorite superhero. I'm very
Same,
excited.
same.
Everything they showed looks so good.
Yes.
The game looks amazing. And yeah, I am concerned about how they up themselves for number 3, but at this point, I'm
It's
just
fine.
excited to play number 2.
They'll just bring in more villains, and then like he'll become
Multiverse.
like really mopey and emo, and like it'll get really good. Like, don't worry about it, okay? They'll just add more villains. That's fine.
Perfect.
All right, so let's break down the trailer a little bit. I won't spoil it, but I'll like just hit on like general things. First of all,
We have mopeds.
yeah, they showed. First of all, they showed.
Mopeds, people.
So they showed Zack first, and Zack is
Oh,
alive
yeah.
in this timeline, I guess. I don't know what they're
Everybody
doing.
do a squat.
Yeah,
Everybody do a squat.
everybody do a squat. Well, but although they showed when he carried Cloud, so that's in the original game. So I don't know if that's like
Right.
but we don't know. They showed Rufus. They showed the town with the giant cannon. They showed Sephiroth's like backstory, like how like the reveal about how Sephiroth became evil. That's probably when you're gonna play as him.
So cool.
You met Kate Sith, and he even shows him riding on the giant stuffed animal. That like you see him in the combat. You saw the open world, like you're driving like a Jeep, and then you're driving like a little moped,
Little moped.
And then you drive. You can ride on chocobos, which is like the original game, because like if chocobos, you can go all over the place with that. Like the rainbow one, especially one that's like really hard to unlock, gets you like a special summon in the original game. What else? So you can team up with Sephiroth. They show a lot of summons. They showed the Gold Saucer, which is basically Vegas, and has a ton of mini games. And they actually made all the mini games. Like in like their own version of the mini games, like that was really cool. Like you can actually do the chocobo race, which like people, if you play the original, is very well known. That was cool.
They turn into its own game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and then they showed Cosmo Canyon, which is Red 13's home. I'm not gonna. That's all I'll say about that. His story is one of the best parts of Final Fantasy VII. It's very sad. And then they showed Vincent, which was awesome. Vincent's like my favorite character in Final Fantasy besides Zack.
I know nothing about this character, so I'm excited.
Yeah, he's he's the guy in the red in the end. Dirge Cerberus. He has his own game.
Yes.
One of the most popular Final Fantasy characters, because he's like edgy, like emo guy. Like he like everybody on MySpace had him as like their profile picture and things like that. Like including me, with My Chemical Romance playing. So
hell yeah.
Or 3 Days Grace. You know
yeah. Let's go.
So Vincent's an awesome character. We'll see. We'll see if they give him backstory. I don't know if they're gonna give him like a DLC, like Yuffie. Because Yuffie and Vincent were optional characters in the original game. You didn't have to unlock them. In fact, if you said the wrong dialogue, Yuffie runs away. You don't get to have her in the party. But they actually they're tying her in now, like as a main character. So, right. I don't know if they could. I wonder if Vincent's
the best ninja. So
yeah, and I wonder if Vincent's gonna get his own DLC. That'd be awesome, because he has a whole story with Shinra and Sephiroth and Sephiroth's mom and stuff. So you can do so much.
The only thing I know about
that.
him is he was in a dusty old tomb in
he's in a coffin.
The next game, in a coffin.
He's a vampire. Well, I don't. He's a vampire. I think he's like something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He can turn into
maybe like in D&D he's like a Dompier, he's like a half vampire, half human.
Yeah, and he can turn into like Frankenstein and like a werewolf kind of thing. Like he can turn into like different beasts.
Fuck?
Yeah, this is like finisher moves. Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh, all right.
He's always in my party every time I play Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, he's like awesome character. You guys will love him. That's pretty much everything. Like they show some boss fights and some big epic moments, but the main thing was like everything I hit on basically, and they show a lot of Rufus stuff. Yeah. Like Rufus is he was in the first game.
The naked mole rat from Kim Possible.
He's the blonde guy. He's the son of the president.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's the main villain. Rufus. He's probably gonna be the main villain of this game. Yeah.
Big thing is release date. I forget if we already touched on
that.
But
February.
We got a release date.
February 29.
February 29.
Which is
it's so close.
Which I had no idea it was that close. I'd assumed it would be towards the end of next year.
Well, they said winter. They said winter. So
yeah, we already had a window.
Yeah.
That is technically.
Oh, okay. I didn't know we had a window. Okay.
Yeah, I said winter. So I assume it was February.
Yeah,
March.
we actually have a window. We have doors. It's called being in a house, Mitch.
Anyway.
It's an audio medium.
Audio listeners. Mitch is pretending he's a mime.
Yeah.
Yes.
But people on YouTube can see this, and we look silly to those people.
But yeah,
I also have a fantastic shirt on, so watch it for that.
So
that's right.
this game's hitting on all the open world stuff. So I imagine there's gonna be one more game after this. I don't think they're gonna.
Yes, it's a trilogy. So yeah.
I know exactly where they're gonna stop too. I can tell. Which is
I'm pretty sure I know where they're gonna stop too, and even I know about that. So
yeah. So I there's a lot of content in this game. What's up?
Haven't they already announced like they've officially said whereabouts they'll be stopping?
I don't think so, because that would be a spoiler.
I swear they have. Well, yeah, I thought I saw an article with that headline, but yeah.
Yeah, I think anybody who would tell you where this game is going to stop would be a bit of a backstabber. So I wouldn't want to do that to anybody.
I don't. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
They said it would take us up to the Forgotten Capital. I don't know what that means, but it probably means something to you guys. I don't even know what that means either.
I don't think it's gonna end where so and so dies. I think it's gonna be something after that. So I think, but I don't know.
Oh, okay. You think so? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
man, that'd be a fucking sad note. That's why I made the backstabber.
I mean, that's where the disc ends. when so and so dies. So
Can you believe they're coming out with 2 discs? Is that even necessary anymore? Are they just flexing? Like, what is happening?
it's a huge game.
I feel like they're flexing, and it's also, I mean, optimistically, it's like, oh yeah, it is that big. But on the other hand, I'm just like, maybe they're just pulling an Activision and are like really, really shit at compiling data. So and plus they just want like the whole flex of like, wow, it's so big, it needs 2 discs. So they're doing that.
I mean, I wasn't exaggerating when I told you the first game only hits on like 10% of the, not even 5% of the first.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, if Starfield doesn't need 2 discs, then why does Final Fantasy VII Rebirth when it's not even as supposedly in depth of an RPG? But who knows? Maybe I'll be completely proven wrong, and it's like going to be like the biggest fucking game ever made. Who knows?
If you guys find the time, I recommend playing 7, like the original, like with the remastered like controls where you can like fast forward and have unlimited health and stuff like that, just so you can get through the story and stuff. Because it still holds up. The story is still like a masterpiece, even all this time. It's like 26 years ago.
Also, I'm literally just seeing this now. Apparently the exclusive window for Rebirth being on PS5 is only at least 3 months. So not a full year, it seems, which is good for Xbox and PC players.
Well, PC anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's coming to Xbox.
Oh,
the first game still hasn't come to Xbox.
Still hasn't come to Xbox, has it? Yeah.
No, I don't think it will.
I'm still yet to play 16. I'm hoping to get that towards the holiday season, but I'm honestly at this stage I had a great time with Final Fantasy VII Remake, but the last few chapters really put me off it by the end, just because it felt so dragged out by that point,
big time.
And I was just so bewilderingly confused by the ending. It's like, explain videos can only take me so far before like I have to like, okay, I'll replay it, I guess, just so I can get a recap. But even then, I'll just be like,
for me, I love the meta stuff. I love being aware that Sephiroth's self-aware that he knows what happened and he's trying to change the timeline. It's like a Flash storyline.
I did think it was a little weird when he was like, "Sup gamers, you want to have some Mountain Dew with me?" Like I thought that was a little weird, a little much.
With some Doritos.
It was me, Barry. No, sorry. It was me. Fucking what's his name? Cloud. I killed your mom.
You forgot Cloud's name? What? Dude, get out.
I was
Jeff Keighley just like comes from the sky like with angel wings, like half naked,
slaps me on the back
Sephiroth,
of the head.
final boss kind of
in the arms of an angel.
To be honest, I was confusing him with the main character from Death Note for some reason. I was about to call him Light.
Light?
I don't know. It's the hair. It's all in the hair. I don't know.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Once again, like I said, those ghost things are trying to fix the timeline, and every time Sephiroth broke the timeline, they would come in to fix it, and yeah. So that's what those ghosts were.
The approach I took for that ending.
Okay.
They're like the time things and go ahead, sorry.
Right. Okay.
The approach I took was like basically what they tell you to do with Christopher Nolan movies, which is just
take a bunch of LSD.
Don't try and understand it, just feel it.
It's true. I really liked it. I kind of wish they stuck with the original storyline, but I kind of do like the meta stuff. Like it's like everybody's self-aware that I already know how I died, so I'm gonna like change everything.
The annoying thing is that like I feel like if I had this at least the same kind, like approaching the same level insight you do, I'd be right with you in that. Like it's like a fucking fantastic idea, and like the way you're describing it sounds really, really exciting. I just don't know if I can be bothered right now to spend however long on the original Final Fantasy. Like cheats with or without cheats, when I've got like so many other games on my backlog still.
But
like
Final Fantasy 7 is not that long. If you have the cheats on, it's like 20 something hours. Not even. You can people speedrun that game in like 8 hours. Like the grinding is the part that takes the longer times. But if you have like the cheats on, then you can fly through the game pretty fast. So. It's not that bad of a. I played it. The last time I played it was a couple years ago. I beat it like maybe 2 days, so 3 days.
Okay.
It's not that bad.
Okay.
It's not like games nowadays, where it's like every game's 70 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, considering that, it's a trilogy. I'll at the very least, I'll try and have the original one completed by the time the third game comes out, which who knows how long that'll be. But
it would be nice to have someone else that knows the story, because like not only Final Fantasy 7, but there's like the whole like it has so many games to it. Like there's like the whole, it's like Star Wars. There's like 7 games in Final Fantasy 7's catalog, and they all tie into each other. Crisis Core being one of them that Dory and I beat. So yeah. Right. So yeah, we're gonna move on now. We hit on everything. The state of play, like I said, was pretty good. That is the best state of play we've seen in a while.
Yes.
There was a lot of games they showed that were good, and finally, let's get to Starfield. Now, Starfield, as me, I'm a Bethesda veteran, so I have played pretty much every Bethesda game they've made, and I want to say this game is Fallout in space, which for the good and the bad. But I want to focus on the positive, on the good first. First of all, let's hit on the storyline. I want to hit on the story before we get into all the gameplay and everything. So, what did you guys think of the overall? Go ahead.
Sorry, no. Can I hit a general note first?
Okay.
Before we get into specifics.
Okay.
Because I didn't tell you guys where I kind of landed on the game.
Okay.
Before we started recording.
Okay.
So, it's in a surprise to me, as it may be to you. This Starfield is currently my game of the year.
Oh,
what?
Shit.
As of this moment.
Gotcha.
What was your game of the year before this?
Resident Evil 4? Or
Either Resident Evil 4 or Dead Space.
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, look, I'm really loving the game. And look, I know I talk about Game Pass a lot on here, but I'm sure you guys will agree. I'm sure you guys will agree that I am in absolutely no way biased towards Xbox, Microsoft, or any of its subsidiaries.
Shut up, you Xbot. Paid by Phil.
for audio listeners.
Wait a second, Mr. Audio Medium.
James just drank out of a cup that said Team Xbox.
Team Xbox.
That was incredible.
Thank you. I've been planning that for the whole
Watch the
podcast.
YouTube.
That took me the fuck out.
Stupid Xbox.
Listen, I can't
Ryan
condone
is gonna add to
spending
that.
excessive amounts of money on video games, people. But yeah, here's my Starfield controller too. But I'm wearing the Starfield watch. But
I can tell you're a fan.
Well, before we get in the story, let's talk about the general, like, what are our experiences with Bethesda games. Like, is anyone else a veteran with Bethesda games? I've played a lot of Bethesda games in the past.
Yeah, I've played a good handful. I've got like 5 copies of Skyrim across various platforms over the years.
Same. Yeah. It's on my fridge.
Yep, exactly. The smart fridge. New Vegas is probably my favorite Fallout. Fallout's a little harder for me. I'm not as hot on the post-apocalyptic world setting.
Yeah.
But New Vegas was great.
Which is ironic because that's not even Bethesda. That's Obsidian.
I know. That's Obsidian. I missed the boat, like timeline-wise, in my life in games for Morrowind or Oblivion, but I knew coming into Starfield that I would be so down for No Man's Skyrim.
Basically.
Sea of Starfield.
Yeah, like I said, this game, when I say it's Fallout in space, it's like literally Fallout in space. It reminds me of the DLC in Fallout 3, like when you go in the UFO and stuff. So
I mean, the only thing they're missing is the VAT system, right, where they zoom in on enemies and stuff. But
Yeah.
you do get that with the auto system thing in space. So the auto targeting system. I have no experience with Bethesda. I mean, like, I played Outer Worlds, but that doesn't really count. That's Obsidian. And I think I played a little bit of Elder Scroll when I was a kid. I don't think I liked it, or I remember
Which
either
one?
I didn't have enough time to really. I don't remember what it was. It was like mid 2000s. I do not remember which one it was.
Probably Oblivion. I would.
It was probably Oblivion. I never played Skyrim. I haven't played any of the Fallout games. I do have New Vegas.
You're probably the only person on the planet who's not playing Skyrim. Like, to be honest with you.
I know, right?
I've got enough copies for you.
Dory. It's okay, Dory.
Thank you, Mitch.
You're not
Mitch
the
has
only
been
one.
here for me the
Group
whole
hug.
episode so
Group
far.
hug.
Group hug. Skyrim support group. But yeah, so I don't have a lot of experience with Bethesda games. And I don't know, like, so this was a weird experience for me, and not like super weird. Like I said, I played Outer Worlds, and Outer Worlds is a lot like Starfield in my opinion. I'd actually say I liked Outer Worlds a little more, just because I felt like it was a little more contained, but didn't have as much fluff. But they're both pretty closely ranked for me.
The irony is, Obsidian's made the best Bethesda games ever.
Yes. Yes,
both times.
Which is why they cut themselves off from Bethesda, because they knew they could do better. But I digress.
On the topic of Outer Worlds, actually, I'm the only one who hasn't played Starfield because I don't have a PC good enough to run it, and I don't have an Xbox Series yet. But I will say that, and I think I at least said this to Dory, that I like seeing all the reviews and coverage of this game just made me want to go out and play the Outer Worlds more than anything else.
God, this game
basically
really
the exact same reason that you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This game really made me miss Outer Worlds, and really made me long for Outer Worlds 2. Because I was like, I would love this game a lot more. And I'm probably going to be the coldest on this game. It is in my top 10. It's number 10. But it's probably not going to be a number. It's probably not going to be on there for long. But I do really like it. I mean, I spent 60 hours in it, so I can't say that I don't like the game.
You have some authority.
I have some authority in this matter, absolutely. When it comes to matters of the boot, I trust the bootmaker. Sorry, that's a really niche anarchist reference. I don't know why I made it. But anyways, yeah. So that's kind of my experience with Bethesda. Very minimal. But I love a lot of what they like. I love these kind of RPG games. I'm just like colder on the open world stuff. I've talked about before how I'm very picky on that. But yeah.
James, did you mention your experience with Bethesda?
No, so I mean, I'm pretty experienced with Bethesda games. I've played Skyrim, Fallout 4, bit of Fallout 76.
My condolences.
So not that experience, but just those pretty much. And yeah, it was Starfield is very much a Bethesda game, right?
Yeah, to a T.
Definitely is.
I think I don't know if anyone else had the same experience, but when it was first announced and it was just the title and everything, I was kind of, the image I had in my head was something that wasn't a Bethesda game, something like brand new, like really new,
like
more
No Man's Sky than anything else.
I mean, they're still using the same damn engine too.
Since 2002.
Something cleaner and more polished and kind of.
Yeah, like it was supposed to be. It got hyped to be like a game changer, like revolutionary game, and it just ended up being a great game, but it ended up being like just typical Bethesda.
Yeah, look, as someone who, like, because in terms of Bethesda, I've only played like Fallout 4 and 76. That's the only like real experience I have in with those games.
Yeah.
I've kind of accepted now that with a lot of RPGs, it's just not for me. But I'm definitely less keen on Bethesda games overall, just because of that goddamn engine and how outdated it is, despite the fact that Bethesda seems insistent to keep on using it and recycling it.
At this point. Yeah.
Well, we might as well.
Exactly.
We might as well use that as a jumping point into. Let's talk about the visuals.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the visuals. First of all, I'm playing on a 4080 PC, and I was playing on ultra settings. So my experience is totally different than a lot of people, I think, because my environment, like their surroundings were incredible, like absolutely mind-blowingly good. The problem with the game was more the character models, but in terms of just like the environment, like being like when you're in like on a planet and like you see the space above you and there's a giant planet on the like horizon, it looks mind-blowing, incredible. Like when you're in Neon City, it looks so good. The colors really pop. There's so much ray tracing and reflection. But again, that's my experience because I'm playing on ultra settings. Like, what did you guys experience playing this game?
I have a pretty decent setup at this point. I have 16 gigs of RAM. My processor's pretty like middle way, like maybe above average. I was able to run it on high settings pretty consistently. I did have some crashes here and there, which was not fun.
I had one,
but
overall,
I think I had, God, I don't know. I played around 60 hours. I think around like maybe 8 to 10 crashes, which is not good.
Oh shit.
But
Had a couple
but
crashes.
luckily, I mean, almost I religiously auto saved and stuff, and it doesn't take that long to get back into it. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Not my biggest problem with the game by far. So basically for me, even on high settings on a pretty, I would say, above average setup, I felt like I was playing like an HD remaster of an Xbox 360 game. Like it felt like a game that came out like about 15 years
Yeah.
ago. I know that doesn't exactly match up with 360, but you know what I mean. Like it feels like a game that came out in the late 2000s, early 2010s, and had been remastered to look a little better. That's my experience, of course. I don't have the best setup, and I don't claim to. Animations didn't look quite good, and facial. Bethesda has always had this issue. Obsidian has this issue too, by the way. So I'm not being biased on that one.
That is true.
But just facial models just are really weird, and they look kind of dead in the eye. I know IGN had a whole article that they
They're like
posted about that.
Barbie doll claymation. They just have the
Yeah,
skin
they
is the
look-
skin
they
is
look
too
dead.
shiny, I think.
They look like they just saw like the Emoji Movie, like they were forced to see the Emoji Movie like 5 times over, and they'll
It's-
never recover spiritually.
It's not that bad like when you're like in the main storyline stuff, like when you're talking to
Yeah.
like an NPC and like you zoom into them, it's not that bad. It's like when
Yeah,
you're walking around the city and you really look at the
Yeah.
character, it looks not
It's
the
not
best.
it's not terrible. I've seen far worse, and it's
Yeah.
also not like
It's-
again, it didn't cause
okay.
me a lot of problems in the game.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, for me, it was kind of like subpar, mediocre, but it's not.
Mm.
It didn't like hugely detract from the game. I didn't think, oh well, this is it. This game sucks.
I think
yeah,
in the context of the game itself, like while you're in it playing it, I'm sure it's fine. But it's like when certain people online go as far to say that, you know, like not so much graphically it's the best thing ever, but it's like, you know, because with the way a lot of the people on the internet talk about Bethesda games, there's like a certain level of prestige to it that, especially from like a semi-outsider point of view, it's like you go into it, you know, off that praise, and then you see things like the facial features and the bugs, even though they're not as, you know, we're not Fallout 76 bad here, so like, you know, praise
for sure.
where it's
No.
due, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, I know it's more so like at this point it's a constraint of the engine, but it's like, I think the fact that the textures and models look this way, and the fact that it's like, it's, you know, it's like, okay, say if it was like a fully seamless open world type thing where it's like you could go from ground to space kind of like you can in No Man's Sky. It's like,
Yeah.
if it was more seamless and more fully integrated, I'd 100% be like, you know, give that a pass. It's like, yeah, I'm happy to take, you know, like a hit maybe on the character models if it means we can have all.
Oh, sorry, my audio's messing up.
yeah.
You know, it's like I'm
it's-
happy to take a hit on this thing if it means we get this.
I don't think
But
it
we're not
winds
getting
up
that.
being that bad once you get used to the menus, because you can alleviate
yeah.
several of those steps by just going to the menu in the map and teleporting without having to get into your ship. And those load
Yeah.
screens are so snappy in my experience that it doesn't matter one way or the other.
Mm.
Of course, I'm
Yeah,
running
most loading
NVMe
screens-
drives, so
Most loading screens are like 10 seconds in my experience. It's
I would say they're
like-
3 seconds for me. They're like
right.
snapping. my
No,
finger.
they're not.
Yeah,
they're not like
no.
that for me. They're not
Well,
like
yeah,
that for me.
I want to say like 3 to 5 seconds for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're for me. They're like
Yeah,
8 to
which-
10. But this is all, you know, minute differences.
Well,
Yeah.
They're like 20
Yeah.
seconds for me on Series S.
Oof.
well,
Okay.
I'm not bothered
Okay.
by it. I'm not bothered by
well,
it.
I was gonna. I know James was playing a Series S,
See,
so I want to ask him last. But I was just curious about Ryan. What setup are you using playing this game on?
I've got a 5700 XT GPU and a Ryzen 7 3700X with 32 gigs of RAM. It's above average rig, not the top of the line rig by any measure. I've had this system run this game on high graphic settings and just about hold together at 30 FPS. I tend to pull it back so I can get a few more frames and not burn my GPU out. I tend to play somewhere between low and medium. My experience has kind of been a little bit opposite of yours, Sebs, where like the character models are kind of like the best thing in my game because
Yeah.
it's the thing that it's rendering with the highest fidelity because they're close up, and then the distance things
Yeah.
are a little bit more blurry.
Yeah.
But like in those moments where I've had it on high to see what the game looks like, goddamn, is it beautiful! It's freaking gorgeous.
Absolutely. Like I mean, this game is the reason why I invested in a PC. Like, this is the game I wanted to like get the best experience from. I got just about 60 frames on ultra settings. Sometimes it dipped to like 55, 59, but you don't notice that. Like, there's not big of a difference to notice. Sometimes it would jump up to 70 or 90 or something. The only thing that was annoying for me, because I use an ultra wide monitor, is that the game was not made for that in terms of like the gameplay itself does play in ultra wide and it's amazing, but like when it switches to a cutscene or to the menu, it shifts back to regular size, and it was very jarring to go back and forth all the time. Every time I went to the menu,
success over there.
Yeah, so it wasn't a big deal, but it was kind of annoying. I was like, this is like a brand new AAA game, and it's like you can't handle the menu shifting, and because this game you're in the menu like half the time, so
yeah,
half my game was like in the not.
And so many
hitting my
PC
monitor.
gamers were in that ultra wide monitor space.
Yeah.
You would imagine that Bethesda would have that there.
Yeah, and it probably will be in a patch or something, but yeah, but I already beat the game, so I'm past that point. So James, I'm curious about the Series S, like how it runs on the Series S.
Yeah.
Because I have a Series X, and that was my original plan, but I was like, hell no, I'm not playing this game in 30 frames. So I wanted to play this in 60. So how does it run on the Series S?
I mean, I might be easy to please, but I have pretty much no issues with it. I've crashed a couple times, which is a little annoying. But like again, like Dory said, it auto saves so regularly.
Yeah.
It's like same thing happened to me with Cyberpunk when it came out and I played on PS5. It crashes so much, but it auto saves so regularly that it's a minor inconvenience at worst. As for the graphics, honestly, I've got to disagree with everything you guys are saying. I think it looks absolutely fine, and there are plenty of moments.
I say it look great.
When there are plenty of moments, specifically when you're talking
James just
to
wants to
characters.
feel heroic, Seb. Just let it go.
Yeah.
And when he's talking to characters, and when he zooms in on their faces and stuff, and they've got like they've got lights,
No soul.
like character lights that shine when you go into dialogue, and the way the light reacts to skin and stuff, and like it's really smooth, really nice. And just generally, like the game, I think the game looks, even on Series S, where you'd expect it to look a little rough.
Like a toaster, yeah.
Yeah, I have had no issues.
That's good.
Like
That's good.
I can't think of a point when in the 12 or so hours that I've played, where I've like looked at something and thought, oh, that looks a little rough.
Yeah, because like I'd imagine most people playing this game are probably playing on the Series S, or like a decent PC. Because most people that own PC don't have a great PC. I'm like the 1%. Like obviously, like most people have like, I think Steam says like most people that have PC are like in the lower end. So I'd imagine a lot of people playing this game are on the Series S, and so I imagine a lot of people have your experience. So I think a lot of people, from what I'm gathering, fanboy aside, I think a lot of people are digging the look of the game. I think people are taking great screenshots and they love the way it looks. The lighting, I think the lighting is fantastic in this game. I think the lighting is one of the best parts of this game for sure.
Do you know what I think? What it has in its corner is good art direction.
I totally
And
agree with that.
that's the thing
It's
that
like Elden Ring.
has been saving video game graphics for decades.
Yeah, because we talked
Like,
about this on Elden Ring, right? Like when we said like the character models are not great, but the surroundings and the lighting is so good that it like transports you to that world, and you don't mind
Exactly.
you don't mind the drop in like graphics or character models where. Yeah.
It's the same reason Battlefield 3 still looks phenomenal over 10 years later.
Yeah.
Even though it's, you'd think it would be a prime candidate for outdated graphics. Because it's just the art direction is so good.
Yeah.
Going off
totally agree.
Sorry, before we do actually move on to the story, I going off what you're saying then, I dare say Batman Arkham Knight would probably be in at least the same general category where it's, I mean, like if you still look at screenshots and gameplay of that game, it looks friggin' phenomenal, but that's mainly just
Really
due to the
does.
lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lighting makes all the difference
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
No, actually, I don't want to transition to the story. Let's talk about like the gameplay, because we keep talking about like how it feels like either the graphics feel dated or not. In this case, the gameplay, I feel like it's probably the best Bethesda gameplay I've played.
Easily.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's very fluid, the shooting and everything. Like because when you play Fallout, it's more janky. Now, this game is not the best shooting I've ever played. It's not Doom Eternal or anything like that, but it's like it serves its purpose. Like it does a good job, I think. Like I've been playing on mouse and keyboard and controller, and I like it both ways. So it's pretty.
I mean, their in-house game feel went from like high school to college. Like they really stepped up their
definitely.
level of game feel in my estimate. And if anyone who knows me, they know that like two of my favorite video game verbs are loot and shoot. So this game, the gameplay loop, just does it for me.
Not only that though, but the AI is like way better. Like, 'cause, like when you play Fallout, like the AI is usually really stiff and they kind of just stay in one place. But in this game, the enemies all actually move around a lot. And this game can be challenging if you're playing on like harder setting, or even normal can have its moments where like you get surrounded by enemies. And it was really fun. Like this gameplay was really, because when I first saw the gameplay for this game, I was kind of like, I'm not really feeling this. But it feels like a current gen game for me.
Yeah. Is it just me, or does the gunplay actually feel very close to Cyberpunk?
It does.
Yeah,
This game reminds me of Cyberpunk a lot, actually, in a lot of ways. Even with the neon lighting and stuff, in the good
Which
ways.
makes me
in the good
excited
ways.
for it.
In the good ways.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I heard id Software had something to do with the gunplay here.
That makes sense.
Or like they at least consulted on it.
You might as
like,
well if you
helped
own
give
them.
advice.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say like it seems like a novel idea, because from what I've seen, the gunplay, it looks like it didn't even hit me at first play. I'm like, oh wow, the gunplay actually looks good, if not great.
One thing I just go ahead, Dory.
Yeah, so I guess I'm gonna be the James of this situation.
Contrarian.
I don't think the gunplay is bad, to be clear. I wasn't super impressed with it. It did feel kind of stiff for me. I didn't really like it. Was okay. I didn't like super enjoy myself for it. I preferred it, I'll tell you, over space combat. The space combat made me feel towards the beginning of the game, especially the first 10 hours, I felt borderline nauseous while trying to do it. I also didn't quite understand that you could break your break like on your ship, and so ships would go, and I would be following the arrows just like a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon, and I'd be like, the fuck, I can't keep up with them. All I really had to do was break, again, brake, and I'd like look around or whatever, and then I'd find them, or I'd be able to catch up with them easier or whatever.
Just the Benny Hill theme going on. In the
Yes.
Yeah.
So I found both. I found the gunplay like okay to good, and then like I know this is all nitpicking, but like degrees of difference here. But I wasn't hot on the space combat. Anytime I could avoid it, I tried. Now later in the game, when I got a much better ship, when I did the Mantis mission, or I bought an Abyss Tracker, like I didn't mind it as much, but that's also because I was just fucking plowing through ships, and I didn't have to think about it much. But I didn't like the space combat, and I only thought the gunplay on the ground was just like okay to good. Like it was fine. It felt serviceable.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing it felt like in Outer Worlds. I was hoping that Bethesda, with all their millions of dollars, would do a little better than serviceable, I guess, but that was just me.
I don't.
Well, I mean, they used to do terrible, so serviceable is a good start.
Right. So I mean, like my expectations, I think, are different than y'all's, because, like I said, I'm not a Bethesda veteran. I never played. I haven't played any of the Fallout games. The only Fallout game I probably will play is New Vegas. And so I don't have that experience to say like, oh, for Bethesda, this is incredible, because I never played a Bethesda game before. But I'm not saying it was bad. I did have a decent time, and I enjoyed myself. It's not like it was a pain, but I also didn't, I didn't love it either.
Just to be clear, I think I'm not judging the combat based on like Bethesda's reputation. I'm basing it on like I actually think the gameplay plays like a current gen game, the shooting and everything. But I don't think it's a nitpick, but the space combat, because I actually think it's a genuine problem. I think, in fact, I think it's the worst part. To me, it's the worst part of the game, I agree. And I just don't think it played like they wanted it to play. It feels very limited. No Man's Sky is very seamless, and in this game, it's like it feels like I'm on an on-rail.
It felt like you ran out of ammo way too fast. I'd always be trying to hit the buttons, and it would just be constantly out. And maybe that was just on me not balancing the weapon systems, but it just didn't feel right.
What it feels like, the space traveling and combat feels like you're in this small little space. Even though it looks big, they trick you into thinking you're in space flying around, but you're actually in the small little bubble, and you can only go certain spots.
You actually can. You can travel at the normal speed from planet to planet. It just takes 8 hours.
Oh, can you? Because it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, a streamer did.
Well,
it. No,
you're not
did
supposed
it. He sat
to.
there for 8 hours and traveled from one planet.
Okay, yeah, it does not feel like that.
Alana Pierce traveled all the way to Pluto, and then she went through it, and it was just like a flat texture PNG thing. At least without traveling to it.
I mean, you can also... the game doesn't... This is the thing that fucking annoys me about Starfield the most. There are certain cool little things in the game that really improve your quality of game, I guess I want to say, your quality of life with the game, where either I missed it or it just doesn't tell you a bunch of little shit. Now, I'm not the most attentive person in the world or observant, so maybe I missed the stuff. Possible. But, for instance, you can lock onto a planet in the distance, and you can just press the X button if you're playing on the gamepad. Yeah, and I don't think the game tells you that, and I don't know. It just seems like a cool little thing that you don't have to open up the map. You don't have to go into the star system. You don't have to maneuver all around. One thing I've been saving to say is if you love loading screens and maps, boy, are you gonna love this fucking game, because I felt like about 20% of my goddamn game was spent in loading screens and maps.
This is UI the game.
Maps.
This is
UI the game.
Is out there,
it really fucking aggravated.
Especially when like I said, my monitor kept shifting to regular. It was so annoying. They kept shifting from widescreen to regular, and it just and I was in the menu half the time. It's an RPG, so.
Yeah. On the gameplay, right? It's I mean, Doug, I actually forgot there was space combat. Because I have deliberately not engaged with it since the tutorial.
Well, as somebody that's played this game about 50 hours and beat it, space combat I didn't do that much. It wasn't a big thing. I maybe 5% of my gameplay was space combat. I want to say
that's what I think is great about the game.
A lot, yeah.
It's
not even 5%.
You don't have to engage necessarily with the parts that you don't enjoy.
Exactly.
If you don't like space combat, you don't have to do it. If you don't like building ships, you don't have to do it. If you don't want to go and buy a house,
there's a part early on in one of the missions where you can either talk the pirates into letting you onto the ship, or trick them into getting on the ship, or whatever. I think it's for the governor on Mars, but or you can just blast them out of the sky. And I'm like, oh, I'm going aboard. I don't care. I literally lied to them so I get on board. I'm like, I'm not fucking doing space combat. No way.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a second, Dory. Did you say Governor of Mars?
Yes, the Governor of Mars. Well, Sidonia.
Okay,
no! Don't even make that joke. I know exactly what joke you're about to make. Shut the
Elon
fuck
Musk
up.
in the game confirmed?
No. Yeah, I went right into that.
I told you the last.
But yeah,
I told you the character on Ahsoka. He looks just like the person playing Thrawn. He looks just like Elon Musk. So stay tuned. You're gonna see Elon Musk on Star Wars in about a couple. It was Tuesday, so a couple days from now. So.
Well, listen. Look, I've played 12 hours. Like I said, and I think probably one of those hours has been actual combat.
Wow.
So that's the other thing. You can do a playthrough where you don't do much combat if you want to do that, because I like
which is normal.
I like the gunplay. I do. I think it's as good as Cyberpunk, and I like the gunplay in Cyberpunk, but it's not one of the best first-person shooters I've ever played. It still feels like a Bethesda.
Or third person.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
When I say it's a modern game, it's solid. It's not the best thing ever. It's just It serves.
So you don't have to engage with that. You can do what I'm doing and do a playthrough where you try and avoid confrontation and you try and talk your way out of
Yeah,
situations.
which is normal
Which
for
is
Bethesda
brilliant.
games.
I had okay, so I don't know, maybe it's just me, James, and I didn't invest in my persuasion skills enough. Like I did invest by the end. I had whole persuasion, the whole thing leveled out. But like I either had really bad luck or I could almost never figure out how that system works. Like the way it's supposed to work is like, right, you have the most sensible things to say at the bottom that will get you only a couple of points towards the point requirement to persuade somebody, or you have the more dangerous things that are like an orange and red down below, and those will like give you more bonuses to persuading somebody, but they're more risky, and like if they fail, like whatever. So I mean, like I would generally go with the green. Every now and then I would go with orange or red if I was like desperate or if I just didn't care. But like, man, so often I just felt like either I wasn't getting the persuasion system, which sucked because I didn't really want. I'd prefer to talk over shooting in general, even if the gunplay was better. But I just didn't get that a lot of the time. So I don't know. Maybe you did something different than me.
I love the persuasion system. I think it's
cool.
a really great addition to the kind of dialogues.
Yeah.
Is that the one where you have like the bar along the bottom and
Yeah.
it's like you have a certain number of points? Yeah.
You have to. It's basically just try to persuade somebody. It's much better than just doing like a single skill check.
Mhm.
I think, and yeah, it's very luck based. Sometimes you succeed, sometimes you fail.
It did feel. I think for me, and I'm sorry to make this comparison, but for me, like I really like the way that Baldur's Gate works, just because like I know what my chances are of getting it, and like generally you know what your chances are with green, orange, and red in terms of like. But that system kind of made me feel like I never really wanted to venture into the orange or red choices for persuading people. I always felt like I was going to fail, and it never felt like it was going to go my way, so I just didn't bother. So I almost always did green, maybe orange if I had a auto persuade on stock or something, which I did like the auto persuade. If you persuade someone in 3 different situations successfully, you like get an auto persuade that you can use. I did like that.
Hey, trust me.
Hey, trust me. Just trust me. Source, cite my sources. Trust me, bro. But anyway, I didn't again, similar to the gunplay, I didn't hate the system. I do have my problems with it. And again, maybe I just had terrible luck, or I just wasn't gaming the system right.
Yeah.
And I didn't put enough investment in my persuasion, which is weird for me because I love investing in that stuff. And I don't know, there's so much to invest in. I think what I did early. Sorry, Seb, last thing. I think what I did early is I invested a lot in my inventory because, like, fucking hate encumbrance so much. I hate it in D&D. I hate it in this game. I hate it in Outer Worlds. I hate it in every single fucking game. And I'm not even a hoarder. Like, all I want to do is I just want to take the weapons, and I want to take, like, the credits, and I want to take, like, valuable treasures, and then I just want to sell them. And that's it. And then the game punishes me for just that very basic want. Like, I'm not taking books off the shelf, right? I'm not taking candles and sticking them in my pocket. Like, I'm doing very sensible things, and the game's like, no, you will now walk slow and take health damage.
The Bethesda experience.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
Yeah, charisma is my favorite part of Fallout and Elder Scroll games. I love persuading people. This game, I played a little different. Instead of avoiding combat, I always went to it because my character was a bounty hunter, gunslinger, running to and blow everybody up. And I always use persuade check for everything, but that was to get more money out of things, not to avoid the conflict.
I found stealth very stingy. I don't know how about y'all felt, but I had a lot of trouble like trying to stealth around combat or stealth around. Well, I didn't stealth too much, but every time I did, it felt finicky to me.
Yeah, I want to say one of the worst parts of this game is the stealth. I think the stealth in this game is atrocious. Oh yeah, absolutely atrocious.
It's stealth,
so finicky.
It runs
even when you're supposed to.
Terrible. Stealth. And like there's missions where they want you to stealth and you get like more credits or experience.
There's a guided
so poor.
Stealth. There's a guided stealth mission. I had to reload my save so many times, and I literally had someone in my headphones saying, "This is when you should go. Stop here." It was very finicky.
It's so buggy in that regard. Like there was a part where you do the mind control thing, and it doesn't work. And I couldn't do what they wanted me to do without blowing up. So I was like, "You screw this! I'm just gonna shoot up the place," and that's what I did.
Yeah. The problem is, it's like usually in stealth games, or at least older stealth games, enemies have a cone of vision, but that cone only extends so far. So if you're out of range of the enemies, they won't see you no matter whether you're right in front of them or not. In Starfield, it's like that, except the range, there isn't kind of a range limit. If they can realistically see you, they'll see you. So you kind of have to be aware of if there's enemies in any kind of line of sight behind you, in front of you, left or right, and it feels very messy.
They know where you are at all times. You can do something like 5 miles away and they know you're there. So
I haven't really had any issues with the stealth, but I've been using the invisible suits like consistently. I don't know if y'all have been.
I love.
well,
my god, the mantis suit is so fucking good. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about. Are you talking about the
No,
other one?
any of the well, the mantis suit could have it. It depends on the stats that it rolls with. But any of the suits that have the chameleon stat on them, that when you stand still you become invisible.
Yes,
I've
yes,
been
that's
using
one
a
I had,
couple
yeah.
of those in stealth missions, and they don't seem to do much at all. Like,
I want to.
I'll be like, there'll be
Yeah.
a guy walking over, and I'll be like, oh god, he's about to see me. And I'll stand still, go invisible, and he'll keep walking towards me, and it's like caution, 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 and it's like, oh, that's it, you got me.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I had,
I-
I had those moments
They
too.
continue to walk,
So
but
I'm
they
like-
don't catch
yeah.
me. I wind up staying in stealth.
I have those
using
moments where
suppressed
I'm sitting.
weapons and having a high level of stealth.
No, probably not.
Well, that's the problem.
I invested in myself, and I did have some weapons that didn't make a lot of noise. I mean, I tried to use every time I bought a suppressed weapon or found a suppressed sidearm, I just wouldn't use it. I don't know why. Like, I think what I loved was the old Earth hunting rifle. It was so good. It was it was one of the legendary weapons.
Just
that's one of the things.
Suppressors for your weapons.
That's one of the things. That implies that I do anything with the modifying. I do not give a shit. I didn't modify my ships. I don't give a shit. I didn't modify my ships. I didn't modify my weapons. I looked at those menus a couple times. I was like, nope, I'm good. So yeah, that's not something I really
I modified
enjoy.
the shit
I
on
did
my
do that.
ships for sure.
I don't care about that stuff. I find it very tedious and boring. I looked at the ship builder. I don't do it in Kingdom Hearts, y'all. I don't do it in Kingdom Hearts. If I don't do it in Kingdom Hearts, I'm sure as fuck not doing it in a Bethesda game.
Building is fair, but I think upgrading parts is necessary and easy to do because that's just going, oh, this reactor's upgrade and click one button and it puts.
Couldn't care less.
Reactor.
Once I had the Mantis ship, that's all I needed for almost the whole game.
But even
I
then,
was good in almost every single combat encounter.
You could have upgraded your reactors; things would have charged faster, even more. Like
the
whole well, weapons don't feel like they charge as fast. That's like easily remediated by like 8,000 credits. It's
whoa, okay, Moneybags, easy there. No, I mean
300,000 when I completed the first credit roll.
I had so much money when I played this game.
I had a lot too. I had like 200,000 or something like that.
I had
I had
like
in all seriousness, what Ryan's saying is true. I probably could have fixed some of those issues, but I loved my Razor Leaf ship that I got from the and it worked almost all the time. So you know. Like a philosopher once said, it works 70% of the time, 100% of the time, or whatever.
I want to say
yes.
So
I was about to say that.
I want to say like I was so like stacked out by the end of the game. Like I had everything I had was legendary. I had so many weapons that were purple and legendary, and like I was just
the levels in this game don't matter. Like they don't. I was level 30. I was easily taking on.
I was slow. I was level 70, and I was just like mowing down everybody. Like the game became
to level 70.
Well, because there's no
side
level
quests,
cap in this game,
and there's that too.
I did. See, this is crazy. I did 10 or 20 more hours than Seb. He somehow got to level 70, and I got to level 37 or some shit.
It's called
like
Get Good.
Oh, fuck off. I don't know.
Seb actually just bought the Universal Ubisoft XP boost.
It's called.
Like it doesn't just work for games; it works for real life as well.
No,
you
it's
actually
just
like gain more experience and age double in real time.
No, it's just that every Bethesda game you can like exploit like leveling up fast. Like there's always exploits.
I mean, if you do the outer post, if you do the outposts, combining outposts and outer worlds. If you do the outpost stuff, you can do XP grinding really, really quickly. I looked into this a little bit because I was like curious how you XP grind in this game. But the outpost, another thing I did not do in this game, by the way, Those are 3 big things, by the way. I did not do in the game. I still managed to spend about 60 hours in the game or thereabouts. Yeah, you can like basically if you do certain kind of crafting materials, you get XP for it, and it stacks based on how many you do.
Yeah.
And so if you have these things at your outpost that can make these things on the fly, and you get a lot of materials, you'll get a lot of experience points at once. Anyway, this whole like farming videos and stuff, you can get experience and money really fast.
I mean, just from like the side, I did all the quest lines for the factions and stuff, but just by doing that in the main missions, I was like in the 40s, and then the 30 level, the extra 30 was just like because I was doing like exploits or whatever. So, by like the 40s, I was like killing everything really quick anyway. So, but level 70 was just like I was like a walking god, and like even the Starborn people were just like a joke to me. Like it was anticlimactic. It was like get out of my face. Like I was like unstoppable.
I was 38 with some legendary equipment, so I handled them pretty well, but it was definitely a tough fight. It felt appropriately leveled for me.
Yeah.
No,
I
do.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to say, I mean, I do know I'm probably the most critical of the game. I have had a lot of fun. I do want to praise the side missions in particular. The side missions are gold star sticker. Great job, Timmy. Kind of stuff. Just so many of the side missions are excellent. A couple side missions I want to highlight very vaguely, so I don't spoil anything. But there's one on I think it's called New Haven or something like that, where you get to scare some tourists. Everybody make sure you do that mission. You get to help out this doctor who doesn't like tourists, and it's incredible, and I will say no more. And then there's also another mission in Neon where you're basically in Breaking Bad, and it's incredible.
I did that one.
Yeah, that was awesome. And this game just has so much for it. You can join a gang. That rule too. I love Neon.
That was a great storyline with the gangs.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can join a Fortune 500 company.
Yep, you can do that.
That
might be my best. That was probably my favorite storyline in the game, or at least one of them for sure.
I mean, that's why. That's pretty much the majority of my 12 hours is doing that quest line.
Yeah, that quest line was so good.
Can I explain why the game has edged out Resident Evil 4 at the moment as my game?
Sure.
No.
Basically, it's because
How dare you?
the game is just so well voice acted and so well written that it's like there's an element that I don't get with any other games I've played, even the story-based ones this year, where I actually really care about the characters and I'm really invested in the stories, which sounds like a small thing, but like
it's a huge thing.
No, especially in an RPG like this, it's huge. I wasn't super invested in the characters at first, but I found myself, especially later in the game, there's this particular mission, one of the main story missions, that hit me like a ton of bricks, and I was really feeling it. And that's by the way, I was at a 7 out of 10. I was agreeing with the IGN review, a hot take, for a while there. And then I got towards the end of the game, and I was like, all right, this is better than a 7 out of 10. It's like an 8 out of 10 for me. And what mission, the one I'm talking about, again, I won't say too much, is you'll know when you reach it, is one of the reasons why. It's such an excellent mission. It's so well done, so respectfully and well tastefully done. I did end up romancing Karja, I believe her name was, but I didn't have a lot of people I wanted to romance in this game, which is weird for me.
I didn't do any romance in this game.
Yeah, and it was pretty like mid to late game to even decide to romance her.
Which is quite the contrast in Baldur's Gate, because I was banging everybody in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, you were. You were.
Especially my second playthrough, because I'm playing a barbarian now, so I'm just like
nice.
Bisexual. I hook up with everybody. But
I romanced Sarah.
Hell yeah.
No, but
she's got a wonderful backstory. Very touching.
Yeah,
You would be
I loved Karja and her backstory. She just a really awesome person who I related to a lot. My character was very similar to Seb's, actually. My character was. This is one of the things I loved about Starfield. I could be just about any character I wanted, and I didn't feel like I had to be pushed somewhere else. I was basically a money grub, like hungry. A person, and I always wanted to help people, but I wanted to make sure the price was right. R.I.P. Bob Barker, but I wanted to make sure the price was right, and like, so very often I would say, yeah, I'll do that for you. How are we looking for credits? We looking pretty good? And there's a couple of situations where I didn't, obviously. Like, some of the situations where, like, I helped this kid put up posters of a space frog. One of the options was like, usually when people do this, they expect credits. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, this is a child. Or like dirt poor farmers who are like, yeah, I'm sorry, this is all we have. I'm like, you can keep your money, okay? I'll be all right. Like, 200 credits is not gonna get me that far by this point. But generally speaking, yeah, I loved it because I was just playing this mercenary kind of bounty hunter with a heart of, let's not say gold, maybe silver, bronze, perhaps. But wants to do the right thing, but just wants to make sure they're getting paid their fair wage here, because people, I'm not buying that. You want me to get paid in credibility and reputation. I'm not buying that.
Visibility.
Thank you. I was looking for the word.
Well, that's the thing about Bethesda games. Like, people are always focused on like the graphics and the gameplay, but like the reason why people love Bethesda games so much, and like why I love Bethesda games so much, is because the storyline, the writing and the stories are always good. And I don't always mean like the main story, because usually the main story is kind of average. And in this case, I think the main story for this game is pretty average. But it's all those small things, so like just the little moments are just so memorable. The side missions, the factions, the location.
I'm sorry, Seb. Did you just say all the small things?
Yeah. Truth, care, truth. All right. But it's not exactly a huge shock that James would have this as game of the year, because I know a lot of people that think this game is like game of the year, and it's like I totally see why, because it like Fallout 3. For example, like there's so many iconic story moments in that game that I love. And Fallout 4, even though it's not great, it has a lot of great story moments that I love. And like, so even when the overall story is not amazing, it's like there's always so many great dialogue options and great side little moments and memorable things that's what makes these games so special to people. And that's why Starfield is going to be very popular with a lot of people. I mean, I know Twitter makes it out to be like, oh, it doesn't look like Horizon, or it looks terrible and shanky, it's Bethesda, and no, it's all there, and I'm not defending that, but that's not why people love these games so much, and that's what people don't realize, because it feels like a lot of people that talk shit don't actually play these games. And
but there are no perfect games, right? The good games are the ones where you can overlook the faults.
Yes. For sure. No, I mean, and I was saying this as somebody online. Look, Baldur's Gate 3, I'm not going to defend Act 3 in terms of like the issues that happen there.
Yeah.
And especially for a game that's called motherfucking Baldur's Gate, you would think that they would have straightened out the issues in a city called, I don't know, let me check my notes.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate.
I called it Buggy Gate.
Still, Buggy Gate. But it's still 10 out of 10. It's still my game of the year. I still love it because like it does so many fucking things right that in such an incredibly good way. And not to mention, to be fair, a lot of those issues have been solved since then. Yeah. And a lot of those issues are continuing to be improved upon. So they're listening to people and they're working the feedback in to fix Act 3. And I mean, part of it's understandable. Baldur's Gate, the city, has so many fucking NPCs and so much going on at once. I mean, it's hard for me to like hold it, but anyway, the point is Starfield's not that buggy of a game. In my experience, I had very few bugs throughout, except for the space alien bugs, of course. Actually, I love it. If you watch the ACG review of this game, it starts off with, there are bugs everywhere in this game. On the planets, there are, blah, 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 that little fake out every now and then. It's very funny. He does a very good review. I don't necessarily agree with all the points, but it's very well written. But yeah, I mean, the bugs are not the problem in this game, at least for me. And like, I still think this is a solid game. Overall, this is my thoughts. I mean, this is a solid game. It just has a lot of big flaws with, for me, the gameplay, the graphics, and the and the main story missions, which I do want to talk about a little bit, but we can work that out later or whatever.
Yeah, we'll hit on that. I didn't have a lot of bugs, but there was a lot of I had a lot of jank. There'll be times when I jump into a dialogue and like the character, my companion, like just runs like the Flash, like in the background. It's like it just looks so, and it happened like 20 times when I played this game.
See, I find that endearing.
Yeah, that is endearing. That's
in 2010, I would have said that was endearing. Now I feel like that's kind of like it should be better. In my opinion.
For me,
I don't believe in the charm anymore of that. Sorry. Yeah.
I get it like once every 6 hours a game. If it was more common, it would probably get old. But like when it's in common, at least in my experience, it's still endearing. Like I still think I boarded some spaceship, and like there was a microwave that had an item inside of it, and because of Bethesda, the item inside the microwave spawned inside the microwave. Like it was 10 pixels too low, and it spawned in the same space as the microwave, and it just wound up flying all over the spaceship for a minute and a half, and I just kind of stood there and watched it and giggled to myself the whole time. Like that's still funny because that happened once in 50 hours, but I can see if you're having that happen more regularly, it'd be a problem.
I think something with my frame rate, because my frame rate was so high in some parts, because it would jump to like 50 to like 120 sometimes, and it was just like I feel like the game couldn't like understand that. So like when every time like it would be sudden drops and jumps. So that might have been the reason for me. It wasn't like game breaking. Didn't ruin the experience for me, but it's just like. It's definitely there. There's jank. Just the jank is always gonna be there with Bethesda. I think they need a new engine, really badly.
One thing I want to mention.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
No, I was gonna say. Let me say this really quick.
Go ahead.
Elder Scrolls 6 should not like. I think there's no excuse. Elder Scrolls 6 cannot look like this. New engine, please. I'm not getting a pass on this one. Go ahead.
I mean, Unreal Engine 5 for Elder Scrolls 6. That's all.
Yeah,
that's all.
That game comes out in 10 years or whatever. It can't look like it can't run like this.
Absolutely bonkers about this fucking game, and it's not as bad as I thought. But there is no map. They don't have a map in this game, and I thought that was wild. And when you play it, though, it's pretty logically laid out. I will say every now and then I would get lost, and the map is absolutely no help because it basically doesn't exist. But for the most part, there are signs that you can read. NPCs will tell you, and often the quest markers will bring you to interest points of location that you don't need a map, and you'll just remember where it is.
Yeah.
But that said, I mean, I still had to look up like where is the well on Jemison? How do you get there? Even though I'd been there like once or twice before, or like where's the trade authority in the well? Even though I'd been to the trade authority before for like a side quest, I still couldn't remember, and obviously the maps aren't going to help. So they are updating Starfield, and I guess they're putting maps in, which I don't know. That seems fucking weird to me that you wouldn't put a map in a video game in 2023. Even a rudimentary map. It doesn't have to. Well, I'm not talking. It has to be like a Metroidvania level map or something like that.
Yeah.
But just a basic like anything.
Mainly in like mainly when you're in a base or something, because like this is like the most linear open world game ever. Like this whole game is going from point A to point B, and there's always a waypoint. You just go straight. But there was times where I got lost, especially like the mission where you're jumping back and forth between like two different like portals and stuff. Like that was very confusing. That like and like when every time I'm in a base, there's like different like stories, and they want you to go below, but like but you can't really tell. And you you walk around in circles for like 10 minutes. And it happens to me in every Bethesda game. That happens to me all the time.
When I did the Freestar Collective side mission or mission story or whatever, I had that problem where I was deep underground, and like it looked like I was supposed to go deeper underground, but there was no obvious way to get deeper underground. So I just walked around for a while, and eventually I looked at a walkthrough.
Have you guys been utilizing the scanner to help with that? It's not perfect in every scenario, but the scanner will, like, if it knows there's a path, you can open up the scanner and it'll highlight arrows along the ground of a place to walk.
Yes, I did notice that. I didn't know that's what it was for, because again, Starfield just leaves
does not tutorialize almost anything.
Does not tutorialize at all, which is good and bad. I mean, that has positives and it has negatives, but I mean,
I didn't feel like I needed a tutorial for anything. I thought everything was pretty straightforward. But then again, I guess I'm a veteran with these kind of games.
Yeah,
so.
I kind of agree with you, but then also it took me like I had to ask you guys how to dock with a space station.
Yes. It also took me a while to figure out how to dock. I was getting frustrated. I had passing thoughts, like a ship in space, of like, should I stop playing Starfield? Because this has been very frustrating so far. But I figured out how to dock, and I mean, all was well. But I definitely had a moment of like, oh my fucking god, they can't even explain to me how to dock.
So
yeah.
So let's transition to the story.
Yes.
First of all, I want to say I really don't like the beginning of the game. I think the beginning is very slow. And it does not. I feel like it should have been more epic and draw you in, like space comp traveling. Like I don't agree with starting the game like being on a mining.
Yeah,
tunnel.
You're literally a miner, and it's just very.
And then pirates
and I felt
show
like
up.
My backstory had no bearing on anything.
Exactly. Like my character grew up on the streets of Neon City and things. Like it affected some dialogue here and there, but it didn't like it didn't affect the beginning at all. I was just a miner, and then a pirate show up, and then the guy says, "Oh, you're gonna join Constellation," and that's how the game starts. And it's just like,
My biggest issue, I think my biggest driving issue with this game is they really want me to care about space, and I don't care about space. And I think, and that's a me thing, right? That's obviously not on Bethesda or any of the great minds behind the dev team. But like, it sucks so bad when everyone's like, no, science is awesome, and the stars are so cool, and like. My character's literally like, I just care about credits. Can you just pay me and leave me alone and stop editorializing about how great space is? It did get frustrating at time in the main mission because I don't care about Constellation's mission. I'm going to be real. I don't give a shit about exploring the galaxy or solving mysteries. I also didn't find the mystery that interesting at first because it's just like, collect a bunch of artifacts. We don't know what they are, where they came from, what they do, what they're made of. I'm like, this is such a vague mystery that even fucking Scooby-Doo wouldn't be able to figure out what the hell's going on here.
And it got very tedious. Every mission just turned into go to the temple, get the thing, go to the temple, get the thing.
Get the power, do this like very boring mini game. It's very finicky over and over. And I'm like, this is so boring.
I'll say,
why would this be your main story?
Just a question. I meant to ask this earlier. Because say with like all the Fallout games, especially for instance, there's like that big wow moment where you're introduced to like the world for the first time, like you're exiting the vault and whatnot, or I think Outer Wilds even had a similar kind of moment. Does this game have that moment?
No.
Kind of like the first time you get into space, they try to set it up like that, but it doesn't hit quite as impactfly in the same way.
Because like Fallout 3 had a whole storyline where like like the bugs break in and they get attacked, and like, it sets up like a whole like hour and a half, 2 hour like cool storyline, and so when you leave the vault, it feels very impactful. Like Fallout 3 has Fallout 3 has a great opening, and this game is just kind of like you're just a miner and for like 5 minutes. And then pirates show up, and then you get on the ship, and then that's it.
They do
it just feels so forced. It really feels
you can only
forced, and I just don't care about Constellation at all.
I mean, I guess you can
as
only
an organization,
make
the individual members, the individual members, a lot of them are lovely. I love Sam and Sarah and Karsha. You get to know them; they're great. But Constellation,
not only that, is like the once I got to the Starborn stuff, I thought it was really cool. I'm not gonna say what it is, but I thought all that stuff was really interesting. But that's like late in the game. So
late game.
So overall, to me, the main story is mid. I think it's very mid. Yes. But then again, I said that about. I think Skyrim's main story is mid too. I think the side stuff is what I remember about that game.
Yeah, for sure. I remember the side stuff more about Skyrim. I think this is one of the stronger main stories for me from Bethesda. How quickly did you guys because I trucked really hard on the main path until I hit my first temple, and then immediately afterward I met the Starborn and I was hooked in like 6 hours, which still is it's a little bit of a long onboarding procedure, I think, through the beginning of the game. But I know friends of my, Preston, for example, he went off and did like 4 or 5 hours of side content and then got back to the main story and hit that point with the temple, and for him it felt way slower.
Mine's even longer. I did like the second mission, and then I did side content for 40 hours straight, and then I did the main missions last.
That's what I did. But
I was so uninterested in the main story that I just didn't care.
Yeah. I did some of the main story stuff, and then I realized like how boring I found it. I was like, everything in the side missions is so much better. So basically, I almost did every single side mission that I could find.
Same.
And then I did the main story like kind of all at once.
Same.
So it was very slow for
first
me.
Experiences.
So what happened with me is I didn't even try to I didn't know where to go for the factions. I kind of just stumbled into now I'm serving the military. Now I'm a pirate. Now I'm a ranger. Now I'm doing this. And like I kind of just, without even trying to, I just kept jumping into factions quest lines, and I just did all of them in a row. I was like 40 hours of just quest lines, and those are like amazing, memorable, iconic, just awesome moments for me. And then the main so I did the main story very last, back to back to back to back, and I was like, wow, this is a huge drop off in writing and characters, and I did not care until like the last like 2 missions of the main story.
Yes. The last 3 missions are really, really good, and then for me everything else is like Seb said. Very
I got
good.
really into it, and then it ends. I'm like, oh,
yes,
okay.
What I'm getting from you guys is that I should like drop 1 or 2 main missions in between doing all the side missions.
That's
just so
not
that
a
I
bad
don't have
idea.
You can do that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably fair. I didn't do it just because
It-
I wasn't super into it, but
It's kind of hard to do that because the faction quest lines are like 10 to 15 missions long, so it's like it's kind of hard to like find the middle of that. Once you get into it, it's really addicting because I love the ranger one. Like I was so into that one. I love the pirate one. I love like being friends with them, like pretending to be friends with them, being a double agent. That was really fun. I love working for the company and trying to find like the whole like politics of the company and like finding who the mole is, and like that was really interesting. And sneaking in. Although I didn't really sneak in, I shot up the whole place, like the rival company. I just shot up the whole place, stole the plans, and so that was funny. The only reason I did that is because it was so janky with the stealth. Like it wouldn't work. They wanted me to mind control somebody and it wouldn't work. And I was like, screw this, I'm just gonna show up the place. So I massacred like the entire floor.
I just brought whenever I start a new character in Skyrim, which is every other year or so, I probably play for 10 hours.
Yeah.
I always play until I defeat the first dragon, because that's when it feels like the main story frees you to go do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And I just kept trucking on the main storyline until I found that moment for me in Starfield.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad I did. I feel like I trucked through. I was in New Game Plus by about 25 hours, maybe 30 hours in.
Wow.
I did 1 side mission in that first playthrough, but then got like a whole bunch of temple powers and went for New Game Plus.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow. You really did have like the inverse of Seven Eyes.
Very different experience. Yeah.
My God.
And now that I'm in New Game Plus with the some of the New Game Plus stuff, I've been exploring more of the side content that I
so I will say the side stuff makes New Game Plus a lot better, because when you're like me, somebody who's done a lot, I'm not gonna claim all of the side quest missions, but I mean, like IGN has a video it just came out with about the best side quests in Starfield, and I've done like 5 out of 8 of them. And I think one of the other ones I haven't done, I wouldn't care about. So there's only like 2 missions out of there that maybe I could even consider doing. But when you come back into New Game Plus, it's very interesting. I won't get into it too much. It's a very different kind of New Game Plus. But I
like how they did it. Yeah.
As like a person who did a lot of the side missions, you can blaze through that main quest, and then you're kind of underpowered, for at least in my experience, unless you're like Seb, you're level 70. And like you find, I don't know, the fucking golden Lego bricks everywhere or something like that. You're just hucking it at people.
I had the best ship. Like, mine was like 400,000 or whatever.
I know. I don't know how the fuck you do it, dude. It's
called Get Good.
I mean, like, yeah, it's called Get Good, Elden Ring, blah blah blah. Like I got to the end on my New Game Plus, and I had done the whole main story mission, which is a lot less tedious on New Game Plus in my experience. And at least if you make a certain choice at the beginning. But I just quit after a little bit, because I was like completely outmatched by the enemies there. But if you're doing side missions, like Ryan is, you'll get very good equipment. You'll get more levels. You'll get more. I was lazy. I wanted to be like this merciless, like kind of character who just like used I forget what they're called, the katanas in the game. I think they're called the kashimi or something like that.
That was me in Cyberpunk.
So I wanted to be like that, but as soon as I started running up against the enemies towards the end game, I was like, nope, I'm done. Like I don't care this much.
Yeah, I totally invested in gun stats. Like all my specs was like into the combat part, so I was all about guns blazing.
I mostly invested in I invested in mostly the physical side of things, which is weird for me. I don't usually do that. But I did it because I didn't like the encumbrance mechanic at all, and I wanted as quickly as possible to make it a less of a thing in my game. I can't even imagine not doing that, because even by doing that, I still like struggled a lot with the encumbrance, and I often had to offload it onto my my party members or containers, or sell it immediately. It was a very frustrating mechanic, and I wish people would get rid of unencumbered, or at least have a toggle.
I feel like-
understand. Like some people like that. That's
Yeah.
fine. Have a toggle. I would turn that shit off in a second.
PC mods.
Yeah.
Yes. No, PC mods are there. Yeah,
Yeah, for
absolutely.
sure.
There are definitely some mods for that right now.
Yeah.
But I never trust mods. I'm very.
They disable
I
the
don't
achievements too if you care about that.
Yeah,
stuff.
well, I don't care about that, but yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just very. I'm always like very worried about the mods interfering with the base game, and I know they're tested for that, but I'm just I'm kind of paranoid about that.
My thing is not totally forgot. That wasn't an issue for me because like I feel like I was always selling. It's like I feel like I was always near a merchant to sell stuff, so I never felt that as much. Like here and sometimes like, I'd be like in the middle of a base and then I feel like, oh shit, I can't fast travel now. I have to drop some stuff.
Yes. God, I hate it.
But other than that, I feel like I was always good on space.
There's also like sometimes you could fast travel from some places, but you couldn't from others, whether you were encumbered or not, and that was very annoying. It's not a huge.
I don't know
deal,
about you guys, but like I did not travel anywhere in this game like on my own. I fast traveled everywhere, like literally everywhere. I was like hyperspace everything. Like this, my whole game, half the game was loading screens because I was just jumping, fast traveling to every planet.
Thank God we have those quick load screens.
I know. If I play this like on a lower PC, I would probably not like this game as much. I think. I don't know.
See, I think this is. I agree. I don't like encumbrance overall. I would turn it off given the option. But like, if I had to deal with this encumbrance system or Skyrim's, I would take Starfield's encumbrance system every day. Because at least I get to walk at full speed, even if it's draining my stamina just doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. Sometimes I would
Yeah.
just spite the fucking engine. I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna take health damage. I don't give a fuck anymore. You know what? Hurt me. I don't care. I'm gonna keep running. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Sorry.
I walk until I'm out of stamina, and then I pull out my phone and I check Twitter or I check Discord real quick, and then by the time I'm done checking that, it's the load times we don't have anymore.
Yeah.
My God.
So yeah, I did so much side content. Like I was like Sarah Who. I don't know who these people are because I was like 40 hours.
My wife, Sarah Who.
but the writing in this game is really good in terms of like the side stuff, the dialogue. Baldur's Gate's my game of the year, and like I'm playing it again. And it's like my choices and like the character I built is so impactful because like everything I do like in the way I built my character affects the whole game. Like, because on my first playthrough, I played a drow, and it made everybody racist against me, and I was able to like go in the goblin camp, and no one cared. Like, they feared me and stuff like that. I don't have that in this game. I don't like in Starfield. I don't feel like my baseline, like my origin story, affected the game at all.
Agreed.
Being a street rat didn't affect literally anything. I got a couple of dialogue choices here and there, but it did absolutely nothing. And I wish like I wish like that RPG element was more there in this game. It's not really there, but
I did have that moment during the Ranger quest line when you have to go to the hospital. Because I chose a combat medic background, and having that combat medic background really gave me a lot of different options for getting into back rooms and getting information from doctors that they would not be willing to give to someone who wasn't a medical professional in their eyes. So maybe some of that variation comes down to which background you pick, and then what scenarios you find yourself in. But yeah, it's not as like direct as a lot of the things like Baldur's Gate would have.
Yeah,
it's weird to me that you say that when you were a street rat that it didn't matter for you, because when I was a street rat, I had the Grand Vizier Agrabah after me, and he had like some really annoying parrot, and he was constantly calling me a dirty street rat every single few seconds. It was very hurtful. Sorry, I'm making an Aladdin joke for everybody. I'd look up on Wikipedia what Jafar was, because I thought he was a vizier, but I couldn't remember. I was like, I have to nail this joke, or otherwise. But no, I know I've been like super critical of this game. This is like the most critical 8 out of 10 I feel like I've ever given in my life. Like, it's an 8 out of 10 for me, but with a lot of qualification. This is still a great game. I spent 60 hours in this game. So if I didn't like this game, I wouldn't have done even half of that. So this is still a great game.
You've been on a roll lately.
Who loves, I think anybody who does loves Bethesda games will enjoy this.
You put 150 hours into Baldur's Gate, and then like 20-30 hours into Sea of Stars, and then like 60 hours in this game. So you've been on an RPG.
I know.
roll.
That's the power of being jobless, my friend, and not having a fucking life. I
can't judge. I beat 2
good
out of 3, so I can't be judged.
Yeah. But I do want to reiterate, this is a great game, and there's a lot of things to like about it, and it's number 10 on my top 10, but it's still, I mean, that just speaks to how stacked this year is. I mean, I think even a year ago or 2 years ago, in this state, I mean, this game would have probably been higher up on my top 10, but this year's ridiculous.
I don't know where I'm at. Like, I think it's like 6 or 7 for me, like my top 10.
Yeah.
I thought there was moments where I like, oh, this is gonna be my top 3, and then it's like, because there was games that are ahead of it. They're just like jaw dropping that I didn't have in this game. Like Final Fantasy 16 had moments where I'm just like my jaw was like blown away. Like I was just blown away by what I was watching and the story and everything like that. This game didn't have that moment for me like a lot. Like it was there. Don't get me wrong, but there was just the games higher for me, like Dead Space and Resident Evil 4 and Baldur's Gate just had the bigger moments for me and the more memorable gameplay elements and things like that. But this is like this is still a great game. To me, this is like an 8.5. It's not the generational game that people wanted. Like people were hyping it up to be like game changer. It's not gonna like destroy PlayStation. It's not the end of Jim Ryan. Like people made it like this game was gonna like move the mountains and like change the world. End world hunger. But I know this game was gonna be exactly what it was, which is a great game, great writing. Great dialogue. I love that they went back to the silent protagonist thing again. You can pick your own. It feels more immersive when the person's not talking, in my opinion. It feels like a Bethesda game for the good and the bad, and I think it's the best version of that. Now I think in the future, I think it's time to start getting away from that now.
We gotta abandon that engine.
Yeah, we gotta start getting away from like not just that, but like just change the gameplay a little more now. Like start doing something a little different.
Yeah.
Like you made the same game now for like 20 years in a row, and it's like an Elder Scrolls. It's probably gonna be great, but is it gonna be like Skyrim good? I mean, cause I don't know, because we're in a different era from like Skyrim time, 2011. We look at games differently now. Like Skyrim, like people find the charm and bugs in 2011, like that was the cool thing, and we didn't care about that. Nowadays, not acceptable. So it's like look at Pokemon for example. Like Pokemon was a buggy mess, and everybody like hated the game, and like people don't find it acceptable anymore. The jankiness and the gameplay element, the gameplay loop, and things like that. So it's a great game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying it's not a masterpiece. It's not. I feel like it's time for them to like start revolutionize their concept a little differently now. It's time to do the God of War thing where it's like we try something different. But that's just me though. I know a lot of people probably play the same game for 50 years. They don't care. That's just me though. I think it's time for them to try something new. That's just me. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Can I hit on a couple of smaller things?
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
That I have listed. So I'll start with the negative one. And that is the fact that you cannot assassinate the president. I tried.
What?
I tried. So if in the main planet where the lodge is, you can. There's a building where you can go down to the military headquarters or whatever, and like it's where the president is, the president's office, and you can go down there freely for some reason. So I went down there. I saved my game, and then I tried to kill the president, and you cannot. Like she'll go down on the ground if you shoot her a bunch, but then she'll just get right back up.
Yep.
Wow, that's
a little
Bethesda.
disappointing.
Yeah.
I'm glad I saved as well, because as soon as I did that, Sarah turned on me.
Oh, I did want to talk about that. God, it was so frustrating. So I had a bounty against me, and the Freestar Collective hated me and would attack me on sight. And so I defended myself, and I was like, oh, they're shooting at me. I'm going to shoot back. As soon as I destroyed one of the ships, Sarah disliked that. Karja disliked that. Bear disliked that.
All of them were good. Give me a
turn against you.
Give me a neutral evil companion or something, because like
I know!
every single one hated everything I did. Everything I did, they hated it. I was like, screw you.
They like every time I was like, hey, am I getting fairly compensated for this? Sarah or Karja would be like, well, I don't think money should be your primary motivation. Fuck you! I want to get paid. Like, what's so wrong with wanting to get paid? Like,
I agree.
I'm happy to help out.
Exactly.
But, oh my god,
my character
Everybody was like goody two shoes in this fucking thing.
That's why
I was
alone
at the beginning.
Yeah.
They say at the beginning of this game. Sorry, last thing, Seb.
Yeah, good.
That anybody in Constellation can do whatever they want, and we're not going to judge you too hard. Fuck that! You judge me throughout the whole goddamn game.
Especially Sarah.
Like,
I dropped her as soon as I could.
Especially Sarah. I wanted her gone after like a couple hours. I'm like, you judgmental prick. Sorry, Ryan. You judgmental prick. Like, get out of here.
What was the black guy's name that hangs out with you?
Barrett.
Bad.
Even him, I thought he was gonna be like the swashbuckler, like he's cool with what I'm doing. Even he was like hated every bad decision I made. Like I'm like,
right?
I thought he was gonna be like
And
the cool, like neutral character.
Karja has like a dark past that she like eventually talks to you about if you get close enough to her, and she did some pretty fucked up things. And it's like, but now I can't like steal from people, and like I can't like I just do a little murder, and suddenly everyone's upset. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, it's like Baldur's Gate. I'm like, give me some sugar, baby, and I just like I just massacred everybody, and then I'm like, we're having sex like 5 minutes later. Like that's quality role playing right there.
Thank you. Somebody clip that. That's absolutely true. 200%.
Yeah.
You go from genocide to sex.
Well, Starfield was judging me the whole time. Like, how dare you want money?
Yes. Yeah, how dare you want to get fairly compensated for fighting pirates in space with our buggy ass fucking starship combat? It's like, fuck you.
That's why I didn't romanticize anybody in this game.
Oh, one other thing's related to James saying you can't assassinate the president. On Neon, I found this very funny. You can find the president of Neon in the club.
Yeah.
With in the club. And you just all you have to do is just go into the elevator, go up to the VIP section, pass one guard, and then he's just right there.
Yeah.
You just shoot him at any time.
Yeah.
And you want to because he's a fucking dick.
Yep.
I was so tempted, but I didn't. I don't know what happens if you shoot him, but like, I wanted to.
So I mean, Sarah seems to hate him a lot, so I don't know if she'd mind if she killed him.
Yeah.
But that you can walk right past that guard. That guard does not do anything.
Just walk right past. He doesn't even care.
Yeah. So what?
This does actually just remind me of like I saw a video where I think it was someone on Neon, like some important like main quest giver, and basically this YouTuber he shot up the entire place, like killed all the employees.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't kill the quest giver NPC, of course, as James already established.
Yeah.
He shot up everyone. He left the room, loading screen, came back in, another loading screen, and then just everyone's there again. And then it's like the NPC quest giver's like, oh hey, how you going?
That's happened to me.
They didn't have any companions with it. Yeah, it
happens a lot actually.
I don't know.
Limitations of the medium, folks. But you bring me to an interesting point with the club though. So this is one of the things I'd really like. Did any of you guys use the kid stuff trait?
Yes, I did.
Brilliant.
That's so wholesome.
Basically, it gives you your character parents, and you can go and visit them.
Yes.
And
you get a free ship eventually.
That's in every Bethesda game too.
And this is kind of a little spoiler for the kid stuff trait, but it's so funny. If you go to the club on Neon, the first time you go there, they'll also be there. So
yes,
you walk in,
I saw them there as well.
You walk in, you just overhear them like, "Uh-oh, look who it is," and you walk up to
I literally had the intended effect from that situation of. I was literally scanning the place because I was doing like a deal or something with some people, and I hear out of the corner of my eye like, "Oh, honey, this is such a beautiful place," and I literally had like that dog meme of PTSD with like explosions in the background and stuff like that. I'm like, are my mom and dad here? Like the mortification that they wanted you to feel, I 200% felt. But yes, they are. It's so wholesome. There's such great characters. I meant to talk about this before. You get really good rewards for sending them 500 credits every week. It's just such a nice relationship. It's just a nice thing to have. You don't get it in a lot of video games, weirdly enough, where you get to have a kind of a relationship with your parents, where you get to talk to them and hang out with them and just like see how they're doing, and like they get to be in different places and stuff like that. So I just thought that was super neat and super well done, and they're just such caring, accepting parents. I thought that was great.
So
yeah.
What
Anyway,
you're telling me is that if Bruce Wayne had a favorite RPG, it'd be Starfield.
Exactly is what I'm telling you.
Yeah, those
James,
traits are great. That one's really fun. Ryan, did you use the kid stuff trait?
I did not. That's one I was iffy on. I took Adoring Fan and UC Native.
I just,
How was it,
yeah.
Adoring Fan?
I had
Very
Adoring
Adoring
Fan too.
Fan.
I had that. Yeah.
How was Adoring Fan? Did you lock him up in an outpost and then walked away? Or...
In the first universe, I shunned him immediately. I broke his spirit the first time he saw me.
Wow.
And then in New Game Plus, I was like, you know what?
That.
You're coming with me this time, buddy. And you know what? I gotta say, I love the man. Like half the time when you're taking off, he's like, wee off into the stars. Like he's the most hyper energetic, lovable guy.
That's a Bethesda
one of
reference, by the way.
clips-
He's in every Bethesda game. if you didn't know.
Yes, he is. Yeah, I actually knew. I've seen him in clips of Oblivion or Elder Scrolls or whatever.
Yeah.
But one of the funny things I saw in the clip is like if you shoot him, he'll say something like, "Oh, you just meant to shoot someone behind me, right?" And it's just like that pure like naivete, like just so pure and wholesome. Very funny, very good. Love it.
Can you kill
Thank
him?
Bethesda.
Is it possible to kill him?
I have no idea, but that was so funny.
Let the
That's what I
saves
just
come and
said.
find out. I'll
Yeah.
report.
That'd be amazing if you just like throw him in an airlock and just shoot him out into space.
Jettison that man out.
Yeah, I want to do that. Let me know.
Somewhere
Jesus.
off the orbit of Pluto, probably.
Can you remind me that?
I found out, by the way.
Go ahead.
Speaking of planets in our solar system, I found out today that if you are playing Mass Effect 2, and you try to probe a certain planet that it's in our solar in our galaxy, I'm not going to name the planet, but everybody knows which one I'm talking about. The Edie will say, "Really, Commander," or something like that, like in the most like annoyed tone possible. I had no idea this was a thing, and I've spent hundreds of hours in Mass Effect 2. But it's so funny. Anyway.
Yes. The other things, right? So the lockpicking minigame.
Yes, it was good.
Huge
I've
improvement.
seen that looks really good.
It
Yeah,
does.
it-
It
They
is.
did it. Science has finally done it. They finally made an
Wait a second,
enjoyable
everybody. We have a
lockpicking
locksmith literally on this podcast. Ryan, what did you think about the lockpicking mechanic?
I was a big fan. I think it's more thought-provoking than most lockpicking mini games. It's like an actual little puzzle you have to solve. I like that you can set everything up, before you start everything and try to figure it out before you set yourself. I'm a big fan of the digipicks and the new lockpicking system.
There you go, everybody. It's a good mechanic. Even a professional
Hell
locksmith
yeah.
thinks so. So.
And you don't have to.
Approval.
My favorite thing about it is you don't have to waste lockpicks
Mhm.
because you figure it all out before you hit go. So it's like unlike the one in Skyrim where you have to kind of fiddle about with it and waste dozens and dozens of lockpicks. You don't have to do that. which is
Only
very
waste
nice.
dozens and dozens if you're bad, James.
Thank you very
Wow,
much.
somebody else used the get good on this podcast.
I'm no locksmith. And the last thing as well. And this is such a specific. No one else is going to care about this. It's such a specific thing to me, but it's like, right, one thing I hate in sci-fi, in TV shows, movies, right, is when they come up with words and phrases that are specific to that IP. Like in Star Wars, or like Dank Farrik.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and the most common one they do in sci-fi is like, God damn it, but they replace God with whichever god they've made up for the show or whatever.
Yeah.
And like they do so much of that. I hate that. In this game, they don't. It's like, I walked past somebody and they were using like just a random NPC and they were using regular phrases. They said the sky's the limit, and like it would be so easy in this game because the sky is obviously not the limit anymore because it's Starfield. It's the whole universe.
They should have said the stars the limit. They should have said the
Right.
stars the limit.
It would have been
yeah.
so easy to do that, to change it, but like they kept it the same, and I feel like that's more realistic because I feel like phrases like that would stick around, for hundreds and hundreds of years. So that's such a specific thing to me.
Sure.
But I really like that they did that.
Probably helps too that like all the it's all humans like from Earth, so it's kind of, I guess it's probably why.
So did you guys catch the game last night?
What game, Mitch?
The sports
The sport.
The
Yeah.
sport.
You gotta be more specific. I watch like,
Actually, I
a bunch
love
of games.
I
and
love
stuff.
Wii Sports. Yeah, I love Wii Sports.
But
That's my favorite.
one of the coolest things about this game was the all the outfits you can wear. Like I changed my
Yes.
outfit so many times. I had like whatever I was in the mood for. Like when I did like the mission for the CEO, I was always wearing like fancy clothes. Like I was wearing a suit and things.
Nice.
When I was like at the pump, when I was with the pirates, I was wearing like a really awesome mask set up with the hood and everything. And then when I was in the street gang, I was wearing that. When I was fighting
Yes.
when I was fighting the terramorphs and the alien stuff, like being the snow planet, I was wearing all full out military gear. And by the end of the game, I was wearing that mostly because it reminded me of the power armor in Fallout. So like my guy looked like a boss. Like I was level 70, had legendary armor, legendary suits on, and I was just like mowing down everybody. So I was like the Terminator. So I was like, screw the companions. I don't need no companions. I'm just gonna mow down everybody and get money. That's why I had so
There you
much
go.
money. It was just because I was always bribing everybody for money and looting everything. And I maxed out like the inventory space, and so I was just like, it wasn't really an issue. I was always like selling stuff left and right.
Big complaint here for me. Why the fuck do vendors that don't have people stationed there? It's just an electronic station. How do they run out of credits? Why do they only have 5,000 credits?
Thank you.
I can't tell you the number of times
Happens
I
every
landed
game.
at a place, sold
Yep.
7 guns, and was like, I still have 800 grams of mass in my freaking, or 800
Exactly.
kilograms, whatever communism units.
I hate that too. Baldur's Gate's like
Yeah,
that
I did
too.
not like that. Another part of the encumbrance mechanic that annoyed me
Yeah.
is that the vendors just wouldn't have enough credits to be able to help you out.
Yeah, that happens in
So
Baldur's
bad.
Gate too, and that annoys me as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to counter that, but no, you're right, Seb. That definitely happened to me sometimes where I would completely eat away at their system.
Yeah.
The last shopping session we did in Baldur's Gate, I ran 4 different vendors out of gold. So much
Christ.
stuff stashed in my camp chest. I had like a different experience. I never changed my I would find a set that gave me the bonuses I like, and I'd leave it on. Like I was doing the
That's what I
pirate
did.
mission, wearing my ranger outfit.
Mhm.
I can't like if your actual outfit mattered, that couldn't have gone over well, I'm sure, but thank God it doesn't.
It doesn't feel right wearing like a ranger outfit while I'm like mowing down like
Yeah.
employees. So
For anybody who hasn't played Starfield, like my number one suggestion is to do the secret outpost mission. That is one of the most critical missions in the game, in my opinion. You get a free ship out of it. You get a free suit. It's very early game. It's one of the best ships in the early game, mid game. I had that ship throughout almost the whole game, and I never really needed anything else.
yeah.
Get to about level 10 and save before you pick up the armor because you can reload and get different stats if you don't like what it came with.
Oh, cool. Yeah, see,
Oh.
I got the chameleon stat right off the bat, so I didn't know
Yeah,
that
didn't
it
have to worry
did
about
anything
it.
else. Yeah, I didn't have to worry about it.
So
I
yeah.
was
Yeah,
like,
like-
this is awesome. I was like, I could just be invisible. Holy shit.
So I think when I was playing the game, I was going for like a Hitman kind of vibe where I was wearing a suit and I had a pistol and I was like just mowing down people with
Yeah.
like, a pistol. But like by like late in the game, I was like Boba Fett with the jetpack and I maxed out my jetpack. And I was just and like you can travel so far with that jetpack. You can do so much with that jetpack. So it made a big difference. And like, I had so much armor on that it was just like I was barely taking damage at that point. It was just so I went from like Hitman to like a whole Boba Fett kind of thing. So that's why. That's one thing I wish this game had a little more was like the suits could have been. I wish there's more cooler suits. All the suits kind of look like astronaut stuff, and then it could. There could have been some cooler ones, but not. It's kind of a nitpick, but some of the suits were kind of lame. So, but yeah, I think we hit on a lot of stuff. Is there anything else we wanted to say before we go? Because typically when there's quiet, there's like it means we're kind of done trying to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think we hit on everything.
Yeah.
I think we've hit on just about everything.
I will
Without spoiling
say,
it, yeah.
I will say, I mean, I'm only roughly 10, 12 hours in. So there's every chance that when I'm done with it, it doesn't land on my Game of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, right now, after having done just kind of the one side quest line with the company, yeah, that's where it's sitting. Like,
Do you
really love it.
do you think you're gonna play like Final Fantasy or Baldur's Gate or something prior to like December, or you think it's gonna be hard?
I'm not gonna finish Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate, it's a big game. That's a big ask. I might play it in December when it's quiet.
Sure.
But yeah, who knows?
Yep. All right, so that is our discussion on Starfield. So that's it. Next episode, which is going to be in 2 weeks, we're going to talk about Liza P and all the other games coming out. Why am I blanking for some reason? Oh, Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
and Separate Ways.
So Mortal Kombat, I'm getting on PS5, and Liza P, I'll get on Game Pass. I was going to buy it on PS5, but I was like, you know what? Why am I spending the money? Just play it on Game Pass.
Yeah.
On PC, so. Yeah, and is there something else? I forget, coming out too?
Separate Ways.
Besides Separate Ways.
Comes out on the 26th.
Yeah, but is there something? Is there
Separate
like some
Ways.
indies?
Mortal
There's like some indies or something coming out too that I'm just like.
Oh, there's the Cyberpunk DLC, but I don't think any of us are playing that.
No.
I'll be playing that. Well, I mean, I'll be playing. I'll at least be playing the game. I'm not sure if I'll get up to the DLC by that point because I still haven't finished the main campaign.
Yeah, Phantom Liberty or something.
Before then we have Rin the Last Child. Payday 3 comes out on the 21st.
Payday
right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Mitch, you'll need if you do play the DLC, you'll need to let us know if Keanu Reeves gives you any more compliments.
We'll do.
That's some deep lore. The deep dialogue box lore for anybody who's following us for a while now.
All right, you guys all have a good night. Peace.
Explore the stars.
Bye.
Maybe.
Sky's the limit.
Get paid.